welcome to the Sorry You're in My Seat podcast. I'm your host, Aaron, and I'm joined with my two good friends, James.
Hello.
And my good buddy, Sam.
Hello.
This is the Movie and Film Podcast. We're here to talk about all things cinema, really, for the next, well, it could be anything, really, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, the last one was long. We could make this even longer if you want.
Hour and 45, I think, the last one.
It was. It was actually longer than some of the films we reviewed last time. So
Brilliant.
It's ironic, that. Yeah, great. So we're here to talk about movies. No particular theme this week at all, really.
No, we just went out and watched what we wanted to.
Yeah, so unscripted, just going to talk some films for the next hour and 45 minutes. Last week, we're off the back of the Tom Hanks and Chill episode, Tom Hanks films. How are we doing? How's that?
No, it was good. Listening back, there are some films that I really wanted to see Sully, and I'm a bit upset that I didn't, but there's still time.
Sully.
Yeah,
good
Sully.
film. Yeah, real good film.
Yeah, I thought it went quite well. I got a bit of feedback from a friend today who said that we mentioned very early on in the podcast how we're not going to talk about zombies because we did that last week and then spent 20 minutes talking about zombies, which, if you ask me, we're supposed to. We're supposed to round up and summarise.
Yeah.
You had another hour and 25 minutes of us talking about other stuff.
And that's the point of a podcast is you just start rambling and record it, and then that's your show, really, isn't it?
Exactly. Let's do it.
Yeah. So
should we talk zombies or
no, we've definitely still done that. But Tom Hanks films, I think I really enjoyed that, and as we'll probably talk about in a bit, I actually carried that on. I watched the Tom Hanks film this week as well because I just wanted to keep going with Tom Hanks.
Yes, I saw on Facebook.
Yeah,
You took the advice.
So we'll talk about it. But yeah, it's probably time to say that our shows are now out there on Podbean, on iTunes, on
TuneIn
and Stitcher, and we've had some great reception really from the first shows.
Yeah, we've done really well. We've had a lot of positive feedback and quite a few downloads, so I'm happy.
And it's a good thing that our community is also quite involved, which I quite like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got some good, whenever we put a post up on things like Facebook or Instagram, we kind of get a good kind of selection of comments back from it. It's not just people hurling abuse at us, which is always nice.
Which is nice because if they weren't liking it and commenting it, it would just be us three talking to each other.
Which we'd still do.
Yeah.
Really, if no one listened, we'd still do this. You got anything better to do tonight, James?
No.
So on social media, we are Sorry You're in My Seat. So if you look on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter for Sorry You're in My Seat or SYIMS, you will find us under Sorry You're in My Seat podcast. Comment, join us, like us, join in the conversation. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Great stuff. So films, what have we been watching?
Well, this week I went to the cinema to see Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah.
I then also went to the cinema about 3 hours ago with you to go see the 50th anniversary of Mel Brooks's classic, The Producers.
Yeah, fresh off The Producers only a few hours ago. I also went to go see Mission Impossible earlier in the week, which was good. I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp this week.
I'm still waiting. I'm seeing it this week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to wait till not next week, the week after, because nights and whatnot.
I'll give a very brief update on that one.
Cool.
I also watched, what else did I watch? I watched The Warriors.
Beautiful.
Sam's all-time classic, The Warriors.
Sam's all-time classic, and that was why I watched it. I was flicking through Now TV or Netflix, one or the other, and I saw it, and I was like, I'm going to watch it.
And
do you know what? Warriors is a film that I think you could remake now.
I thought they were remaking it. I thought there was a lot of talk a few years ago about them remaking it.
yeah, they've been talking about it for a few years. It just hasn't seemed to have happened.
It's definitely a film you could remake, I think. And do you know what? Also, if you remade it, I would also say to do it in that style where, not to do it now and turn it into like a Purge film where it's really graphic and really violent. You know how in The Warriors, you think at any time the two gangs could face off with a dance. It's that kind of fight, isn't it? It's that kind of Broadway fight where they kind of square up on the street and you can imagine them all clicking their fingers as they kind of square up to each other. And you're not sure at any moment whether it's going to turn into violence or a sing-along.
I would like to point out if it was remade now as well, the film would be really quick because they would just tweet, "Oh, the Warriors are down this road."
Yeah.
And that's when all the gangs would appear.
No, I would do a remake, but set it in the 70s.
When they were talking about a remake, I think they were trying to set it in real life.
Who would you have direct it?
Who would I have directed?
Yeah.
Edgar Wright.
It is usually Edgar Wright or Christopher Nolan. No, Guillermo del Toro. Because what would he do to that film? I would do that.
Edgar Wright, I think, would do that film really, really well, that remake. I think it would be fantastic. So yeah, I watched Warriors. I also watched Extinction, available on Netflix.
I also watched Extinction.
I gave that one a miss.
Yeah, we'll come back to these. And the other one I watched actually two more. I watched The Circle, which was one of Sam's Tom Hanks films from last week. I said last week that I was going to wait to read the book and then I was going to watch the film. I looked at my book pile at the side of my bed and there's about 12 deep of books that I've still to get through. So I realized there's probably in the next kind of 6 months, there's no chance I'm going to get to read it. So I thought I'd just, off the back of what you're telling me about it, I'd watch it. And do you know what? It's not a great film, but it's an interesting watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, The Circle is on Netflix. So it's a Tom Hanks film. It also stars Emma Watson, and obviously you reviewed it last week. I just wanted to pick up on a few things from that. So for anyone who hasn't heard last week's, the premise to The Circle is it's about Emma Watson's character. She plays a lady called May. She's bored of a job, kind of stuck in this kind of rut of her life, and she gets a promotion, or she gets an interview at a very kind of innovative computer-based company called The Circle, which she obviously gets the job for, and then starts to realize that The Circle as a business are kind of interested in pursuing things like surveillance and advanced kind of apps and technology, and it becomes a bit of a paranoia kind of drama, doesn't it, throughout the film? Yeah. And at the top of that is CEO and co-founder Tom Hanks, who's this kind of Steve Jobs character. And as we were saying earlier, we couldn't remember the gentleman's name, but John Boyega's in it as well. It's quite an interesting little film. It could have gone. I think I was talking to you earlier, James, when we went out for some lunch. It's one of those films that it could have gone further. I thought halfway through it was going to go to a really dark place and do something really interesting. And at the end of the film, it kind of brings it to a close with a very kind of formulaic ending. But the premise of the film, I thought was actually quite scary and interesting, actually.
Yeah, I think it's one of those films that you wouldn't run back to your friends about, you have to watch this, but it's definitely one to put out there for people if you get time, if you have an hour and a half spare to watch it, because it's one of, it makes you think, because it makes you think about the technology we have these days and just how close we are to getting to these points, really. Yeah,
it's this idea that if one company became so powerful, it was in charge of all of our banking, it became mandatory that if to vote, you had to use their company. Yeah. And it keeps using this idea about what they're trying to do is promote democracy, but actually what they're actually doing is very much a tyranny is what they're trying to achieve. It's quite interesting. I don't think it hits all the marks. And what would have been more interesting, which I put on Facebook, was I think they explored the family links a bit more. Emma Watson's characters, her dad in it has MS. Now, this is the other thing I wanted to pick up from last week. It's Bill Paxton, as you mentioned. Yeah. And it was his last film. That was his last film before tragically he was taken. Yeah.
Is it a good performance? You know, because of Bill Paxton, obviously, I like Bill Paxton. Did he go out on a good role?
It's a very minor kind of supporting part, but he does act incredibly well, and he's obviously playing a very sensitive role with someone who's got MS, and I think he pulls it off really well. And it's when you know it's his last performance, and when you're watching him, I think you get this real. Well, I got this real sense that it's a real shame that he's gone, because if you think of the 90s, I mean, he was in so many good films.
He was in all the franchises, wasn't he? He was in the Terminator, he's in Aliens, and he's in Predator.
Yeah. So. The only person who crossed over into all three of the big kind of sci-fi films of that time, yeah. But, you know, Twister, you're a big fan of that?
Yeah, I love Twister.
Yeah. Actually, I
it was you, sorry.
That's me, I'm afraid. Hand up.
And
I thought you were going for a sarcastic
sorry. Titanic. You loved Titanic, didn't you? And he's in that.
Yes, I love Titanic. It's him again. I can't stand Titanic.
Did you not like Titanic?
No one likes Titanic.
True Lies. He was in True Lies. You love True Lies.
I love True Lies.
I knew we'd get there in the end.
Finally.
I'd like to point out True Lies is a fantastic film. Because it's actually really long as well. I always forget because I'm always having fun watching it.
It's ridiculous, that film.
I know it is.
It's absolute nonsense by the end.
How does it kill a bad guy again? Sam, have you seen True Lies? Because I remember...
Yeah, you made me buy it. I got it in CX for 5p.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
But then again, I've missed that version of Sam that I had to go tell him to watch films like, you've never seen Demolition Man. How could you be like 25 years old and still not seen Demolition Man?
And now I'm 30 and I have.
It's a great film, Demolition Man.
I love Demolition Man.
True Lies is brilliant. My favourite scene is when Jamie Lee Curtis drops the Uzi down the stairs and it fires and kills all the bad guys.
Who are at different angles, I'd like to
point out. Who are all over the place. Some are even hiding behind boxes. But it never fires back up the stairs to where she stood.
No.
I mean, that's absolutely genius.
Also, she doesn't move until at least it's revolved around 20 times.
Can I just go back to a point? You said a couple of minutes ago that you was discussing The Circle with James earlier.
Yeah.
When you went to lunch.
Yeah.
Where was my invite?
You were at a meeting, mate.
No, I wasn't. Lunchtime, mate. I was free as a bird.
It was a late lunch, early tea. We just watched the producers.
We just watched the producers.
Actually, it was more tea time, wasn't it?
It was tea time. It was early tea.
4?
What time were you busy?
I was busy.
Yeah, that's when it was. It was when you were busy.
Yeah.
Fine.
So The Circle, the Tom Hanks film. Well, Tom Hanks is in it.
That's what we're talking about.
Bull Circle. It's definitely. I think we made that joke last week as well.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's definitely an Emma Watson film, but Tom Hanks is great in it. And then the other film I watched. So just to recap, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Mission Impossible, Warriors, and then things got really weird. And then I watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I'm not going to go into, other than to say that I don't, as we've covered a few times, I don't tend to watch horror films. And the other night, I was probably about 10 beers in, and I thought, I'm going to watch a horror film. I'm going to put this on.
So I'm not rubbing off on you, mate.
Yeah. So I got my little notebook out and started like writing notes as I'm watching the film. And it starts with like a premise, quite interesting. Autopsy scenes, very realistic. Oh, this is quite scary. Then it just changed to the dog's looking at me. And then the last notes were like, I don't know what the dog wants, but he's looking at me. And then my last note before I think I fell asleep at the very end was I've lost track of this film now. But it was, from what I remember, and probably my point is that you maybe shouldn't watch films when you're that drunk.
10 beers. But you remember to get your notepad out after 10 beers, which is
I think I got my notebook out because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
What did the dog want?
I think a biscuit.
Right. Okay.
Did you give him a biscuit?
I gave him a biscuit and he looked happy after that.
Sound. Well, happy days.
Talking of dogs, actually.
Oh, here we go.
Last week I revealed that I wrote a film around a zombie apocalypse. I've also got another film that I'd like to share.
Yes, you've mentioned this one to me, but I know where this is going.
This came off a dream.
I can't wait for this.
So it's a drama / comedy, and it's about a inventor who's failing, and he's kind of like, he put all his money into the invention of the self-oscillating toilet brush. So imagine an electric toothbrush, but for your toilet.
Just so we can image this. Who would you have play this professor for this?
I'm going to drop this at the end because I think you'll agree with me when I get there.
Okay, fair enough.
So he's a failed inventor. He's put all his money into the self-revolving or oscillating toilet brush. And again, I'm only putting this out there so it's recorded, and then if this film actually gets made, I can sue him. And then one night when he's drunk and he's alone at his house, somehow accidentally creates a telephone, James.
Accidentally creates a telephone.
Yeah, there's like lightning outside and he's got a bit of hysterics. He's had a few beers and he's a bit drunk and he's putting all this stuff together and he accidentally creates a phone that can talk to dogs. The film's called Dog and Bone. The scientist is played by Gary Oldman.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, it does make sense.
Kevin Smith plays the dog.
Kevin Smith?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, see that.
And just because I like Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I like Kevin Smith.
He's a good man.
And I think I'd also put Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it, but playing like a chihuahua.
Nice.
And essentially it's 90 minutes of dogs calling up Gary Oldman just to get told that they're a good boy.
Where's the drama element?
Oh,
please tell me at some point there's a murder mystery.
No, he's quite sad at the beginning. At the beginning of the film, he's quite sad.
So at some point, the phone will ring, and at the beginning, he won't know what's going on. He'll go, "Who is this?" Yeah. He's go, "I'm watching you."
Well,
and then he'll say, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm in the backyard. I'm licking my balls." Carry on and be like really freaked out.
It's all family up until that point, but I thought it could take a quite dramatic ending as well, actually, and maybe like the dog witnessed something, and they call the dog up to court at the end, but the dog. The dog can't talk, so they have to use the dog phone. They have to use the old Dog and Bone.
He's broken.
He's gone.
He's broken. I don't think it's funny, mate. I think it's genius.
I'd watch it.
I don't like you laughing at my ideas. And at the end, it takes a very kind of Kramer versus Kramer ending, is what I'm thinking.
Well, the dog sues for ownership of the bone.
Well, I mean, it's a courtroom drama by the end of it.
Right, yes.
So it starts off a very dark drama, adds a bit of a comedy element to it. I haven't wrote her in yet, but I think Whoopi Goldberg should be in this film as well.
She should.
Yeah.
If that got Oscar written all over it, then...
Oh, absolutely.
I'd watch it.
Well, you need Bruce Willis in there, don't you, really?
Bruce Willis should play
He needs that Oscar,
He should do the voice of the dog. Now, if anyone can connect that film, and I think I might have told you this yesterday, Bruce Willis doing the voice of a dog in 10 seconds, go.
Oh, I don't know.
5,
no.
6, 7.
No, he did a baby and look who's talking.
9, 10.
No, I don't know.
He did the voice of Spike in the crossover of Rugrats and the Wild Thornberrys.
Boom.
Bruce Willis.
I'm sorry.
How did you not get that?
I'm sorry, mother and father. I've let you know.
Sam, what films have you been watching, mate? Sorry.
I didn't watch a great amount this week. I watched Extinction, which we'll go into later. I watched Tau, which is really good. I really enjoyed it. I watched a documentary called The Devil and the Father of Morph. It was okay. And today I had my child overnight, so I put on Moana for her this morning because I've never seen it.
You put it on for her, yeah.
I put it on for her, and she loves that Dwayne Johnson song in it. So I always play her that, and I thought, I'll bang it on. She might like it. She left. I turned it off about 20 minutes into it. Come down, gave her breakfast. Her mother picked her up, and then I went and watched the rest of the film because it was genius.
It is genius. I
It's
love Moana.
It's a great film.
I love Moana.
Honestly, I told you before I tried watching it, and bearing in mind I like musicals, I turned it off because there was too much singing. I was like, I can't get on with this. I obviously wasn't in the mood, but my God, is it good? And not only that, all the songs are brilliant. And like now rewatching it, the songs are fantastic. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the girl's name who played Moana. No, I've wrote it down, but I'm not going to try to pronounce it. My God, what a voice.
I just think it's
Just
I just think it's a
phenomenal.
brilliant film. I really like the morals in it as well because you always have to learn something from a Disney film.
And let's be honest, one of the best characters in it. I mean, obviously Maui's one of the best characters, but like some of the best characters is a chicken who doesn't talk.
Yep.
Maui's tattoos that keep moving about, and the water.
I was going to say the water.
They're some of the best characters.
I'm glad you said that because I think that's Disney do that so well, is that kind of background and how they interact all the scenery into the characters and stuff. Moana's I hope they do a sequel.
Oh, definitely. I was looking. I popped on IMDb afterwards to have a look to see who was in it because I only knew The Rock.
Nicole Scherzinger's in it.
Well,
she plays the mum.
I was going to say this because it has Jermaine Clement from.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, he plays the crab.
Yeah.
Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords. Andy, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Tudyk, is it?
He plays the chicken.
He plays the chicken.
So I'm on fire.
So I wrote in my notes, but Jermaine Clement, Flight of the Conchords. How do you pronounce his last name? Andy.
Which Andy?
He's the voice actor. He was in Firefly.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's Tudyk.
Pete the Pirate in...
Pete the Pirate, in Dodgeball.
Yeah.
In Dodgeball.
So I wrote him down, then I wrote K2SO, and then I wrote Nicole Scherzinger, Muller adverts.
She's famous for being a bitch to me as well, right? So she's the one I was dating.
She was a bitch to you?
Yes.
All right, okay.
I'm sure I've told you this story. Yeah, she's the one I was dating Lewis Hamilton, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my dad at Silverstone always gets me tickets. My dad works for a Formula 1 team. Just backstory so people know. So
name drop.
But my dad.
Can you get this podcast sponsored by Red Bull?
No,
because that's definitely what my heart needs right now. Is some Red Bull.
Anyway,
imagine the films I could come up with if you gave me a case of Red Bull.
just leave them to it. It'll be fine. It's the dog phone sequel. It's been hacked by cats. No, the phone bill comes through. It turns out it's like used up all your include. Oh, sorry, I've gone on a rant. She was really rude to me. She told me to go get her a Coke. I was like, no.
Do you think you work there?
Yeah, because
you wear all the hand-me-downs.
Did she think you was a pit girl?
What are you trying to say? I've got a svelte body. I could pass. Look at me squeeze them.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, she just told me to get a Coke, and then my dad don't fuck up. And then we walked off down the pit.
Oh.
So, bitch. Anyway.
I would have got her a Coke.
I would have got I don't like her.
Oh, come on, that's a claim to fame, isn't it?
I would have just been a gentleman and got her the Coke. Yeah.
I'd wear.
Was you stood near the Coke?
I wasn't stood there with like Cokes in my hand. I was just there.
How far is the Coke from you?
I don't know. I didn't see a Coke.
Oh.
How did you not see a Coke, but you saw Nicole Scherzinger?
Yeah. Because she was waving at me going, you, give me a Coke.
Is it a hot day?
Yeah, I believe it was a fairly hot day.
What was Lewis Hamilton doing at this point?
Oh, no.
He should have got her a Coke.
I didn't see Lewis Hamilton because I assume he was getting ready for the qualifying.
And he doesn't race for your dad's team, so is that why you did this?
Well,
yes.
What? Why I didn't get her a Coke? Yes,
because you're trying to
I was
jeopardise
told
her
to. I was
relationship with
told
Lewis
to by Sebastian Vettel at the time. Went, whatever you do, don't get her a Coke.
Oh, vroom vroom cars. I love them.
Welcome to Red Bull. Sorry, you're in my seat podcast.
Can we get sued for that?
Yeah.
No. Not unless we say something. Not unless we say something really horrible about him. Like,
no, wait.
Like Red Bull gives you.
Other energy drinks are available.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
We're sorted now. We're sorted.
Fantastic.
Great. So,
anyway, sorry. They're the only films I watched this week.
Yeah. So we're just going to free flow and talk and chat about these. James, do you want to hit us off with a film you watched that you enjoyed?
Okay. So let's
not enjoyed because it's you, because you don't tend to like films.
I'll start off with one I loved.
Good.
And I don't know if you two have seen it. It's called City of God. It's a Brazilian film.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it, but it was a long time ago.
In 2002, it was directed by Fernando Morales. I may have said it wrong, but that's how it's pronounced. It's about a group of kids growing up in a favela just outside of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil.
In a fedora?
Yes.
All right.
In a giant fedora.
Throwback to last week's episode.
Basically, you meet these group of kids and you see them grow up over the ages and they turn into gangsters from opposing sides. Little Zeke is like the main bad guy. You see all this through a character called Rocket, who is neutral. He's not part of the gangs, but he lives in the favela, so he sees both sides. He goes on to become a photographer, and it's based on true events. It doesn't say it's a true story. It's inspired by true events. Like the character of Knockout Ned, who's a bus driver who gets attacked by Little Zeke, basically starts his own little rebellion against gangs, and then they to fund them, they turn to drugs, and it's a fascinating story. And genuinely, I remember when I first read it, on the box it says, it's the Brazilian version of Goodfellas. And it really, really annoyed me because it's selling itself short. It's nothing like Goodfellas. It's just a great story. It's one of these films that I don't want to say too much about because I think everyone should see it. It is subtitled, so some people that will turn them off. But I think it's brilliant. The story's character-driven. The action in it's good. The storytelling is fantastic. And you genuinely care about these characters. I do recall it's a longish film. It's about 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. But do you remember there is a certain list of films that you can't be distracted by? It's not a phone in your hand film. It's a watching this film. Because obviously it's subtitled as well. So if you're on the phone, you miss 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You genuinely don't know what's happening. Fantastic film.
Would you put it in your top 5 subtitled films?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's one of my top 100 films. I love that film.
Oh, okay.
Did it have, because it's quite an underdog film when it came out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It kind of got recognised. It's kind of like when Slumdog Millionaire came out.
I think it did win an award, which is why it then kind of like
it boosted
went
its
global.
popularity a bit. And did it have a sequel?
It did have a sequel, but I've never seen it. I think it's called City of Men.
Yeah.
And I've not seen it because I've always wanted to.
For some reason, and it might just be because I watched the roast of Bruce Willis last night, I think the sequel has Bruce Willis in it, doesn't it?
I don't know.
It's not a sequel, but it's like a similar name title and they're linked somehow.
There is definitely a sequel to it. I don't think it's got any of the same characters. I think it follows the same favela. So it's a story about different people. But no, I absolutely loved it. And in the end, the cops are the real bad guys. I'm not ruining it for you because that means nothing. But no, it's a fantastic story. And I think you'd really like it.
What's it called again? City of God. And where can people find it?
Well, you see, in 2002, I bought it on DVD and I've just rebought it on Blu-ray. Because every time there's new technology, the best films, I always upgrade.
Are you saying Blu-ray's new?
I'm saying my ability to buy Blu-rays is new.
Yeah.
They finally come down at reasonable prices, and now I can start rebuying my favourite films again on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
which is just as well, just in time for the 4K revolution, of which I'll have to buy City of God in another 10 years. So
does it age well for a 2002
it was
film?
brilliant. Weirdly, because it's set in an area of the world. Do you remember we were talking about locations?
Yeah.
The location plays a big part in it. Like, so it's all compact. It's dire. It's horrible setting. It makes you feel bad for the characters. So you're already with them and you can kind of understand why they turn to a life of crime. And then you've got these two groups. One of them who seems to like enjoy the immortalization of crime, who likes being a gangster, and the other one who's kind of just driven towards it for retribution. And in between, you've got Rocket, who's just trying to survive. And I can, I'm a white man, middle-aged, who lives in England, so I've no idea what it's like, but...
That's a great name for a central character, Rocket.
Oh, I thought you were thinking white man.
No.
White man's a great name.
Rocket is great. If I ever have a boy, a kid, I want to call my kid Rocket.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's a great name.
Rocket Hall?
Yeah. Or just Rocket, like Ronaldo. Just one name. Prince. Rocket.
Just Rocket.
Yeah.
Sam? Okay.
Would you watch it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to track down the sequel and I'll watch that.
More than ever, I think the scenery of a film, as you were saying there, it makes such a big part of the films I love. And it's such an important part of the film, I think, to get engrossed in it, is if you believe in the backdrop of the story. It's kind of like in Armageddon when they get to that asteroid. That asteroid is probably the only believable thing in that film. And when they're on the asteroid, I quite enjoyed it. I quite liked that part. I was actually quite sad to see the asteroid go at the end. Because I think that asteroid had a sequel in it.
What's your issue with Armageddon, mate?
There's too much about Armageddon.
What's your biggest complaint about Armageddon?
Well, I put this out there everywhere, and to the point where I think people are bored of me saying it. But the premise of that film is that you can't teach scientists and astronauts to be drillers. You can teach a bunch of oil drillers to become astronauts in about a week. And ridiculous. When you've watched that, and also it's got Billy Bob Thornton in it.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I like Billy Bob Thornton, but every time he's in a film, he's got that look as if to say, "Yeah, I know." You know, like, it's like, "Yeah, I'm in this film. I know." It's just I'm just doing it, and it's also got. It's actually got a whole array of cast, that film, actually.
Well, that film, to me, Armageddon should not be called Armageddon. It should be called, well, the subtitle should be called Armageddon, We're Shitting on Ben Affleck. Because every bad thing happens to Ben Affleck. Everything. Or where's Ben Affleck? Oh, he was in the explosion. Where's Ben Affleck? Oh, he's in the ship that didn't make it. Oh, where's Ben Affleck? He's the one that's got to stay behind. It's just like, yeah, we get it. You don't like Ben Affleck.
It's like the ultimate survival tip with World War Z.
Don't get on it. Don't go
anywhere with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, just avoid Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Brad, where are you going, mate? I'm going over here. See you.
You're going to Israel?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to India.
Yeah. Billy Bob Thornton, actually, just talking about that. I'm watching Fargo, the TV show.
First series. Loved it.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman again. Oh, it's coming full circle.
I've rewatched it because I did watch it ages ago. I think I was living at your house for a short spell. I can't remember why. I think I was moving house or something. And I remember watching it there when I was in your spare room. And I say spare room, it's not like I moved in. I was sleeping on your two-seater for like a week.
It was my gaming chair, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I started watching it then. And I've always remembered really enjoying it. And then I restarted watching it. And Billy Bob Thornton, he's just owning this show. It's so good.
He plays such a cool killer, doesn't he?
He's
so cool.
in that. I know we're talking about the big screen, but watch Fargo because he's got this like ultra hard-ass kind of assassin about him. But he's got a schoolboy's haircut. And it's really, deliberately he asked for that. He said it would just throw audiences off if I'm like, I stand really straight and very pencil-like and I've got a schoolboy like choir haircut. But I'm really intimidated. And it works brilliant.
I think he gets it, though. There's something about Billy Bob Thornton. He seems to understand the movie business and what audiences think.
Exactly.
I've heard different stories about him where he tweaks these little things to his characters and they always seem to work.
He's in one of my hidden gem films. That's U-Turn. The one with Joaquin Phoenix, Sean Penn, Jennifer Lopez.
I was going to say
Nick
Jennifer
Nolte.
Lopez. Yes, I have seen that film.
Yeah, and Claire Danes is in it. It's a real ensemble cast, this film.
It is weird, Sam.
It's weird all the way through it. But it's quite enjoyable as well.
What's it about?
I can't even begin to explain.
It's been too long for me to see it to explain it to you.
It's like a guy, Sean Penn, he works for the mob.
From someone because he's got money, hasn't
he?
He's
either hiding or he's running away with some money, and his car breaks down. Billy Bob Thornton's the mechanic, and so he has to spend a certain amount of time in this little back end of nowhere little town where everyone's just really weird and like they're back in the 50s. Like Joaquin Phoenix is walking around like he's from Greece, you know, and he's a bit of a bully kind of character and. Then there's all this story about Jennifer Lopez is trying to get out of the town. And she starts flirting with him to try and get him to take her with him. And then she wants to kill her husband and steal his money. And it's just one of them kind of weird, really interesting films that no one has seen that I know. I was
going to say I thought I'd seen it, but that doesn't sound familiar.
No, I've seen it. Because Jennifer Lopez was one of her first movies, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think she did Bunny Train before it.
Yeah, as I recall, it was really early Jennifer Lopez before like
Anaconda.
Yeah.
Anaconda.
I was going to say Outside, which is the George Clooney one, which I quite like.
I quite like that film.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. I like Jennifer Lopez.
No, that's it. I think that's about it for the films I like. Is U-Turn and Outside.
I think she's in a TV show now called Blue Blood or something, and I think she's getting quite good reviews with it because Ray Loretta's in it as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What's that one about?
Oh, you're testing me now.
It doesn't matter. We'll look at it next time.
She's a corrupt cop and her boss starts getting investigated or something and she's linked to him and it's just stuff like that.
There's just quickly on a small screen, because you mentioned corrupt cops.
True Detective?
Oh, I love True Detective. No, I wasn't going to talk about it, but my birthday's coming up and I would like to spend a little time talking about season 1 of True Detective because I think that would be my little episode for me.
Well,
we've discussed your birthday.
Okay.
We were about 12 beers into a conversation the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Is it True Detective season 2? Because I don't want to do that. Right, okay.
Actually, we got two ideas. While you're on the True Detective one, we were saying we should do a podcast at one point where we watch an episode, do 10 minutes, watch the second episode, do 10 minutes. And so we do a whole narrative of the series, but we watch the episode and then quickly talk about it for 10 minutes and then just do the whole episode, do the whole series in a day.
The problem is when you get to episode 5, the 10 minutes will just be us like going, oh my God, that was so good.
Episode 4, mate. That's the episode.
4? I thought it was episode 5.
Episode 4. In both series, episode 4 is the one with the long scenes.
Right. That's going to be good. I generally can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Especially if we drink as well, because by the end of it, we are going to be
slurring all over the place. And it's also worth saying we have done True Detective in a day before, haven't we?
Yes,
we watched the whole first series before.
We have. We also did. I like it when we do those things.
Yeah.
We did Daredevil season 2 as well.
Yeah, we did Daredevil Punisher crossover, 13 episodes in a day.
That was a smelly room.
Yeah.
Smell the man.
My brother still wants me to do I think there's two, the Pacific, because I watched Band of Brothers, but I haven't seen the Pacific yet, so we're on about binging that. But me and my brother haven't seen the New York series of 24.
No, you don't want to see
I know
it.
we don't want to, but I've seen them all other than that.
Well, here's the thing. Every fan of 24 at some point wants to do the marathon. Have a week off.
My brother's done it a few times.
Oh, yeah.
I've managed to do them, but not in one go. I've had to stop at some point.
The New York one, you're talking about the new one?
No, that's the London one. The series before London.
No, he's talking about 24 Redemption.
Oh, no. It was a Jack Bauer one. It was a Keith Sutherland one.
Okay.
It was the one where he had a big falling out with the Freddie Prinze Jr. Apparently they hate each other. Keith Sutherland doesn't hate Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie Prinze Jr. hates Keith Sutherland. Will never work with him again.
I might be off the mark as well, but I think the whole thing was shot in LA, but they made it look like New York.
Oh, it was really bad as well.
Oh.
They didn't learn any lessons from the previous season.
I'll tell you what is interesting. Watch the film Cloverfield. Now I know you don't like it, and I'm not going to go into the conversation.
No, I like
about
Cloverfield.
Well, I'm not going to go into the conversation about liking it or not liking it, but that whole film was shot in LA, and I think that is absolutely stunning because you think that is New York.
New York, yeah.
They found the two New Yorkiest looking streets.
And just go back and forth on it.
Yeah, the whole film was shot on those two, and then they filmed it with footage of like the bridge and the Empire State Building and stuff.
Why did they do that? Is it just cheaper and
It's
easier
cheaper.
to do?
It's probably that's where they were located.
I don't think you can close down streets in New York on the cheap to do scenes and stuff. I think London is the most expensive city to film in.
Have you noticed how London does actually seem to be? It's because it appeared in Mission Impossible.
Yep.
Like London seems to now be appearing in films.
Yeah, it's
like London never existed before. Now it's all over the place.
I've never seen it, and I've been. No, it's. I think I heard that it was the most expensive city to film in from Simon Pegg when he did Run Fat Boy Run, and he said that it was really hard because I think David Schwimmer was attached. I think he wrote
directed
the film.
it.
Did he direct it?
He directed it because it's got
Run Fat Boy Run.
Yeah, it's got Hank Azaria in it and the Irish actor as well from Black Box. He plays his best friend.
I
can't remember his name.
Yeah,
I actually really like that film. So.
I think David Schwimmer said, it's got Thingy Newton in it as well, isn't it?
Candice. Is that her name? No. I do know you mean. No,
she's in Westworld at the moment. She's killing it.
Yeah, so
she's great actress, she is. And her daughter's just started acting as well. I'm digressing. I'm all over the place. David Schwimmer, I think, in an interview said when he was doing that, it was crippling the budget filming in London.
That's insane.
Yeah, unless you're Richard Curtis and you're doing a new Notting Hill film or something like that,
Yeah,
all over. Should we talk Extinction because we both watched that?
Yes, let's do it.
Explain it to me because I don't have a clue. I've seen the 30-second trailer at the beginning of Netflix. I'll be honest. Did you ever see a film called Skyline?
Yep.
One of the worst films ever, right?
Yep.
It reminded me of Skyline, so I couldn't watch it.
And the only thing that was good about it is it had Turk from Scrubs in it.
It had Turk from Scrubs in it and Detective Batista from Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the only two things. And Milo from 24.
Wow.
Milo was the main guy. And I remember thinking, I really want to see this. And I took a girl and I think I fell asleep during this. It was god awful. So the 30-second trailer reminded me of Skyline, so I didn't watch it.
Extinction. Do you want me to set it up or do you want to set it up?
No, set it up, mate.
So Extinction is a Netflix production. And if you liked Annihilation, you're probably going to like this one as well. It's only been out for about a month, so it's a real new film. It is a sci-fi film and it's an alien invasion movie. The idea or the premise of the setup is Michael. Now, I've always said Michael Pena, but I've heard in interviews today it's Michael Pena.
I always thought it was Pena.
Oh, right. Well, I've been wrong on this, but I'm probably wrong with how I pronounce every name.
So it's not Pena.
Michael Pena's character, he keeps having these recurring dreams of an invasion, an imminent invasion, where pretty much it looks like everyone is going to get wiped out.
His family keep getting killed.
It's an annihilation of the whole planet. Really nasty things are going to start to happen. It gets to the point where his wife starts saying, you've got to go to therapy. His boss at work's like, you've got to get this checked out. It's not good for your health. And then within the first 10 minutes of the film, after him keep having these dreams, what happens? His dreams start to come true. And it looks like what he's been having were premonitions. Then his family turn to him in this time of crisis to try and use the dreams that he's been having to piece together a bit of a survival mechanism.
So they use the thoughts for their advantage.
But he's all over the place really with it. He doesn't really know how to make sense of it, but he's just got this idea that what he's following are things that are going to happen.
What is he? Is he like a psychic or?
No, that is explained in it, and that's the big twist.
Oh, yeah, you can't. There's one massive.
No, I didn't know
twist
it was like he's like if he was an army general. Is there anything? Has he got any like special skills?
He works in a factory.
Oh, right.
There's no explanation.
He's a bit of a IT Wiz. He works on big computers and stuff.
But he keeps blacking out and having these horrific dreams that he thinks are premonitions that the world is going to end with these invasions. And then it happens, and what then very quickly happens is about an hour of the film is predominantly them trying to get out of their apartment block that they live in, and get out of the kind of danger zone of where this attack's happening. It's pretty good in terms of things like effects and drama. The acting's particularly good. I tend to like it. It did feel though for me a bit like a Black Mirror episode because the twist is so big at halfway through. It's not. The twist basically makes why I say Black Mirror is because it questions what you've been watching up until that twist happens, and then the second half of the film, the last third, the last part of it is the new storyline. Now that you know what the twist is,
so if it stopped halfway through, you've got a good episode of Black Mirror.
If they could have squashed it down, and it would have made a really good Black Mirror 1 hour episode.
Yeah, it's weird because I didn't see that when I watched it, but as soon as you said it, I thought you're so right. It would have been a brilliant, if you would have dropped the budget a little bit, it would have made a brilliant Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, the effects look quite good in it. The explosions look quite real. The aliens are a bit questionable, that when they come down and stuff.
But they're very generic, and I like that. It's just generic, alien-esque spacesuit, and everyone just looks the same. They're all carrying the same gun. But I quite like that as well. When they're shooting, it's all old school, like laser beam bullets. Like I'm not talking just like green flashes, but although you can tell it's a bullet, there's some really weird, like old school effects on it, which I quite liked.
So who's this movie for?
If you watched Annihilation earlier in the year, it's for you. I think sci-fi fans will like it.
Sci-fi and action.
Yeah.
Really,
is it from the same people that did Extinction? Because I've noticed Extinction and Annihilation, that the names are pretty similar. So is there some sort of, you might not be able to answer this question, is there some sort of theme running out throughout both of them?
Well, I think Annihilation, when you watch that, the Natalie Portman film, that's a film that's been written by real science buffs.
Yeah.
And it's got that level of intellect to it that's very, very, it's a very intelligent premise. And I think its target audience is trying to meet those that are like, yeah, that could possibly happen. In terms of the science behind it and the kind of the level of detail that they go into. This is a bit more, it's a sci-fi action film. And it's been set up for a trilogy. So I think Netflix wanted to be successful so they can do 2 more parts to this. So this is more kind of going towards your Hunger Games style of film, where it's a very kind of quest-orientated movie with a lot of action in it, with the sci-fi elements. Whereas I think Annihilation was a lot more, it was top sciencey kind of stuff. It's, that last 10 minutes of Annihilation, it's intense. That's,
I do think, if I'm honest with you, the main reason, because when you put it on Facebook, a lot of people was saying, oh, I turned it off. I thought Annihilation was better. It wasn't as good as Annihilation. But I genuinely don't see the films as being overly too much the same. No. I generally think a lot of people just go there because of the name Annihilation, Extinction. Yes, there's certain aspects of it that you'd bring them together with, but it's nowhere near as good as Annihilation. But to me, it's a completely different film. Like, I think, obviously, I'm here because I sit back and numbingly watch a film. It's perfect for someone like me. Like, it's got a big twist that you can't not get. So you're like, oh, I got that. I'm clever. But
do you see it coming?
It's great action.
Is the twist deserved? Because there are certain films that just throw a twist in because they can.
I saw it. It has to have this twist to make the film make sense.
To make it make sense, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I did see it coming, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But not until just for like a couple of minutes before. I was like, it was more of this is how that film would be good if it turned out to be the way it was, and it did. When I was looking at actors and actresses' names in this film, because I didn't know Luke Cage plays the boss in it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know his name. And there's an actor in this film who has the greatest name I've ever read. Lex Shrapnel.
That's brilliant.
Lex Shrapnel is in this film.
That's
we need to see Lex Shrapnel in more things.
That's up there with Rip Torn.
Rip Torn.
That's a great actor's name.
Seriously, there's an actor in like one of the Wrong Turn films. I swear to God, his name's like Battle Axe or something like Battle Tank.
That's amazing.
I will research that and get you his definite name.
Luke Cage's real name is
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, no, it was acted brilliant though, wasn't it?
I enjoyed it.
A couple of young kids in it as well that genuinely looked petrified the whole way through the battles and the.
So I've got another question. Michael Piena, or whoever we've gone with.
Piñar.
So, famous for not really being the lead role. How does he go in this one?
Now, that's really interesting.
Where he gets the reins on a movie.
It's really interesting. I don't think he's got the weight to carry it in this role. I think if you have him in a kind of family drama film, I think he'd pull that out really well. This is all explosions. It's meant to be big bangs and crashes and stuff. He is brilliant in it. And I think the reviews will speak for itself. Interesting, when we get onto it, he does steal Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, actually, to be fair, this is the reason I was asking you, because I was going to say what he's more famous for is the comedy sidekick. Yeah. How does he do in...
The two Michaels in the Ant-Man and Wasp steal it, Michael Douglas and Michael Pena, yeah. I'll get onto that when we talk Ant-Man and Wasp, but he's so funny in that film. And when I was watching Extinction, all the way through, I was like, I loved him in Ant-Man 1. And I just kept thinking about that role and thinking he was really funny, when he does the kind of... He's like, well, let me tell you. And he talks really fast about things that, and he's just telling you so much context you don't need to know when he's trying to get to the point. Brilliant. He's also been in films like, I know he was in Chips, wasn't he? Which I know was really badly received. It really kind of did not touch the mark with its comedy kind of film.
It failed terribly.
It failed, but I think it was insensitive. I think a lot of reviews said it went for a style of comedy that it didn't really hit the mark with what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's an interesting guy though, and I'd watch films that he's in. I quite like him.
Yeah,
great stuff.
I've not seen a lot with him in. I think it's because he's normally
he's a secondary character.
Yeah, and I don't pay attention a lot to secondary characters.
James, what was the one that you said you didn't like this week that you watched?
The one I really didn't like. Right, so I did like it when I was growing up, and I think it's important to go back. And it so happened to be on Netflix, and there was a period in our life. So we were talking about zombies. Do you remember when zombies were popular? In Britain, football hooligan movies go through this pattern where they're popular and not.
So you watched
2005's Green Street.
Hobbit goes to Croydon.
Hobbit goes to Croydon to meet the leader of Sons of Anarchy, and oh God, it's bad.
How can you not want to watch that film after describing it like that?
How I would describe it is, right, so a quick premise of basically what's going on. Elijah Wood is at Harvard in America, and he gets kicked out for having cocaine or some sort of drugs on him, where they're actually his housemates, the dorm friend, because obviously they share rooms, and he takes the fall for it because this person's powerful, and he moves to England to spend some time with his sister, who's married an Englishman, and the brother-in-law, played by Charlie Hunnam, is the top boy for the Green Street elite, and it is from there that they bond by fighting people. And this, to me, is... Right, so when we were growing up, we must have liked this sort of thing. It doesn't age well. And one of the reasons it doesn't age well is because we're now getting to that age where, well, Sam, you've got a kid. Aaron's getting married. At some point, I would like to do some of these things. We're getting to the age where we'd like to take our kids to this sort of thing. This is everything that's wrong with society. They glorify the violence in it. This film glorifies violence, like that they're the good guys. Perfect example. There is a scene where Charlie Hunnam is describing the rules, if you will, to Elijah Wood. They're on a tube. And he's like, well, we've got to take them out because it's all about respect, and we've got to do with respect. So we've got to beat their top boy up. And then, because the film knows that they're saying like morally horrible things, they have to show that Charlie Hunnam's a good guy. So a pregnant woman gets on the tube and Charlie Hunnam goes, oh, here, love, have this seat. And you just think, oh, he's a good guy because he gave up his seat. And then he carries on talking about how he's going to beat the crap out of someone. Another bit, the big bad guy is always Millwall. It's always Millwall in these films. The top boy for Millwall brought his son to a fight once, and the son got like crushed to death in this mob and he died. And it happened against the West Ham lot, the Green Street elite. So the Green Street elite are the good guys and Millwall are the bad guys, despite the fact that the Green Street elite killed a kid. And I'm just sat there going, no, I'm rooting for the bad guy. I want the Millwall lot to kill you.
It's a weird one because I quite like that film growing up.
When was the last time you saw it?
It was many years ago.
I cannot stand it.
What did you like about it?
Well, I was young and there was loads of people fighting on telly and I was like, oh, awesome. That was it. It was just, like you say, it glorified the violence and I just quite enjoyed watching it. It was just, once again, mind-numbing, watching the fight. I was quite into football back then as well, and it was just the side of the football that I didn't see. But although I really liked that film, you know this, I used to be quite a big football fan.
Yeah.
I stopped watching football and gave up football altogether outside of Lincoln City Stadium when Liverpool came over and they played Liverpool. And I bumped into an old mate from school or college, and he was trying to get into the whatever they're called, the football hooligans in Lincoln. And he was like,
I don't justify him with a name, mate. I just don't
whoever
relate
it is.
to it.
And he said, "Oh yeah, I've got to go and find a scouse and kick his head in. That's my initiation." And I just went, "What are you doing with your life, mate? No, leave it." And he went over to this poor kid who was just like walking on his own, eating some chips. And
well, let's stop the story there.
Well,
yeah.
no, nothing happened. It didn't, because I was like, "Well, just leave it."
Yeah.
And it went their own way, and it just. And luckily it did, and they went their own way. But it completely put me off football altogether, and I never watched football again after that. But I liked the film. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know of the film, and I think I've seen bits of it, but I definitely haven't seen the whole thing. None of the story or the idea, concept, location interests me at all, because I think you're right. I think it targets a certain audience that like it for all the wrong reasons.
I get that.
Does the film end with a reflection on itself to kind of...
No, the film goes... Right, so this film was written in 2005, so I am going to spoil it now if that's all right. So Charlie Hunnam basically dies protecting his brother's new kid. So he makes a noble sacrifice, like jumping in the way, going, "No, kill me, Tommy, the top boy from Millwall." So he dies. It's a noble sacrifice. And Elijah Wood is actually on a journey, and he learns to self-respect him, and then he goes back to Harvard and basically records this bloke saying that they was his drugs, and it's supposed to be a happy ending. There's nothing noble about it.
Yeah.
But so I don't like football hooliganism in the slightest. I think it's a terrible thing. But I do want to talk about another film called Football Factory, which is exactly the same, and it stars Danny Dyer, but it's made with tongue in cheek, and therefore I know it's a double standard, and I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I quite like the film because it's cheeky and it's having fun at itself. It's not trying to be noble or anything. In fact, the last line is, "Have I learned anything? Have I fuck?" And then he goes off and has a fight again. And that's more realistic and therefore more enjoyable. Have you seen Football Factory?
I think I have.
It's
sure it would have been years ago.
It's a tongue-in-cheek kind of laugh at itself. And I quite enjoy it because it doesn't take itself seriously. But Green Street just thinks it's the best thing ever, and it's dog shit.
But then one we mentioned earlier when we was talking about
we
film,
were, but ID is fantastic because it's an undercover
amazing
cop,
film, yeah.
But he loses his identity, and then in the end, he becomes a racist. He joins the National Front because he's just desperate for a fight because he doesn't know who he is anymore.
Yeah, it's not an area of film that I'd be interested in watching. Even if someone said to me, "This is potentially going to win an Oscar," I don't think I'd bother watching it.
This was, by the way, in between. I know they recorded all Lord of the Rings in one go, but this was between Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers.
Yeah.
It came out in between those two. I just remember thinking it was a really weird time for Elijah Wood.
Do you think Elijah Wood comes out of this unscathed then?
I don't think Elijah Wood actually does a pretty good job of the fish out of water type thing, but Charlie Hunnam, puts on a terrible accent. And what Charlie Hunnam's gone on to be now is actually a pretty good actor. I mean, not great. He does pick some not great movies.
Yeah, but he's
Pacific
not
Rim wasn't too bad.
I quite liked it. I never saw the second one, but...
But it's not a good film.
When he in Arthur?
He was an Arthur.
King Arthur.
But I haven't seen it, so I didn't want to comment on it.
It's actually rated really high.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Is it not? Which is one that I saw recently then?
I don't know.
There was one of them type films.
Oh, right. No,
really,
King
really
Arthur
good.
King Arthur's got a David Beckham cameo.
The King.
that one. Oh, God, no.
All I've heard about that is it starts off with elephants in England
That are like twice the
that are
size of
like
elephants.
20
should be.
billion feet tall, and David Beckham's in it. And I'm just like, if that's all you hear
it's
about
not
that
that
film,
one.
mate,
It's something
that is not going to be a good film.
But going back to the Green Street thing, it's not a football hooligan film. It's actually a neo-Nats film. But did you ever watch Emporium?
Yeah. Danny Radcliffe one.
Yes.
That's brilliant. I love that film.
Same type of film, I suppose. But that's one I watched a couple of months back whilst I was at work. Fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
But Daniel Radcliffe's actually becoming quite a favourite actor of mine.
He's great.
Like the Swiss Army Boy. That's fantastic.
I love that film.
I love that film.
Still
Do you know
not seen
what?
it.
We don't talk about rom-coms this enough, but damn it, this is so embarrassing. I've forgotten the name of it. He did a rom-com. I can't remember it.
He was great in Horns.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved Horns.
Yeah, great film.
I've loved the book as well. It made me really want to... Yes,
Horns.
no, it's fantastic.
I think Daniel Radcliffe's great. I love the Harry Potter films. I love, I don't think he's done much bad. But Imperium.
Emporium.
It's got Toni Collette in it. She plays like his handler. I really like that film.
I think it's Emporium.
Yeah, I loved it.
He's got to go through like the different stages of the right-wing hate group in America. He starts off with like the skinheads, then it's like the family skinheads, and then it's like the nuts. There's different kinds of... It's just fantastic. I really like that stuff. I think that's brilliant. It's surprising. I didn't think you'd like it.
It was one of those films because it didn't it got a bit of an arse kicking when it come out, didn't it?
Did it? No, I heard good things about it.
It came out against something that destroyed it. I wouldn't know without looking at it, but it came out against a big release.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Got destroyed.
It did get hammered a bit, but I generally thought, because I remember when I bought it, it was I got it over at Asda for a couple of quid, and I just thought there's no way he'll be able to pull this off.
No.
But the best thing is he doesn't, and he makes note that he doesn't pull it. He doesn't look like a neo-Nazi, and he's just an intelligent, smart kid trying to get in with neo-Nazi groups, and he uses his smarts to get in instead of the tattoos and the bald head and stuff. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
That's the thing I like about this podcast is we start talking about the Dog and Bone film that I've come up with, and now we're sort of neo-Nazis and football hooligans. And
well, we should probably veer away from that again.
It's interesting. It's a good, but again, this podcast is all about creating conversation around film, and it's interesting to see that there are certain films that are so insulting, or the context or the genre is something that actually questions that not all films are great, and sometimes it can be quite upsetting to watch them kind of things.
But as you've mentioned on the podcast, like every film has an audience.
Every film has an audience, yeah.
Regardless of who it is, every film has an audience.
If there is anyone listening to this who likes the film Collateral Beauty, I'm not going to go into it today, but what a rubbish and insulting film. Collateral Beauty, I'm not even going to talk about it, mate. It's that bad. It's a truly horrible, distasteful. I was really offended watching it.
Really?
Yeah, and the cast is Edward Norton, Kate Winslet, Will Smith.
Oh, yes, I do know what film you're talking about now. Yeah.
Just completely watched it on the wrong day.
It's kind of up its own bum.
Oh, really?
It went for the Oscar, mate, and it failed dramatically.
Is this one you watched recently? Is that what I bring it up?
Yeah, I watched it a few weeks back, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I watched it knowing that I wasn't going to like it, and I was in one of them moods.
It's a film that was made for the Oscar. Right, it was written for the Oscar.
Yeah, I do think I remember you talking about it when you watched it. I remember you being quite angry.
Michael Pena's in it.
There you go.
I knew it.
Full circle! That's going to be a thing now that we scream out during the podcast. Full circle!
Yeah, that's what it is. I knew I'd seen him in something that he'd let me down. It's that, yeah. It's disgusting, that film. It has some real disgusting lines in it, like Kate Winslet's character who feels that she's missed her opportunity to have a kid. This one guy goes, yeah, but you don't have kids. Kids come through you. So what the hell does that mean?
I know we have had this conversation. Yeah. You told me about it recently. Yeah. You was really offended by this.
Do you know what it was? I remember Aaron told me because he went on a rant for about 30 minutes, and I don't think I'd moved.
You was quite drunk when we was talking about it. We'd had a few beers, and you was even more emotional at the time.
Unlike me,
he says, sipping his Heineken. There are other beers available.
And I've just done that podcast video going, I'm not even going to talk about it. Now, the thing that annoyed me was
Chibs is going to be on like their internet going, ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna let's talk about a film that I really enjoyed, and I'm not sure if you have because we haven't had this conversation yet. Mission Impossible 6.
Is that what it was? Is it Mission Impossible 6?
Mission Impossible 6 Fallout, which came out last week and is the current box office number 1. I think it's just knocked off Mamma Mia 2. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. I Need Some More Money. I don't know. I don't like.
He's getting offended again. Carry on, Aaron. Like Mission Impossible.
So, Mission Impossible. Do you want me to give it a go? Or
you give it a go, and then because I know that you're a big fan of them.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is that I like about them. But then I like Bond and I like the Bourne films. And I like those films because they're all formulaic. They all kind of have the same system. They all use these stunning cities around Europe, in America. And they all kind of have this great sense of peril by the end of them. And they're just easy. They are a blockbuster film. We had this conversation last night over a few beers.
Again.
We had this conversation that Hollywood blockbusters, what they tend to do is they give you a bit of storyline and then they go explosion, and then you're like, oh yeah, that big explosion, and then you start questioning the storyline again. You're like, hold on, that doesn't make sense. Explosion, and you're like, and they use that to keep you going through the film. Now, Mission Impossible is really good at doing that, and this new film,
nearly
the sixth one, I nearly swore, and I've tried not to because you're the swearer, James.
I have sworn quite a lot. Yeah, I do apologise.
If my mum ever listens to this, I'm going to have to apologise.
If my mum ever listens to this, I'll have to show her how to download it.
Mission Impossible 6, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who is more of a writing credit than he's directing. He's done a lot of Tom Cruise films before. So he did like the Jack Reacher films. And I think he wrote, what was the one that we talked about that? Live, Die, Repeat.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. So I think he wrote that, but he also wrote Usual Suspects, which he won the Oscar for back in '95.
I love Usual Suspects.
Yeah, so he's more of a writer than he's a director.
I don't know.
But he did do Rogue Nation, the last Mission Impossible film, which is the one that kind of brought the franchise back to life, because I think it was kind of struggling after Mission Impossible 3 and 4.
Yeah, so this is where I get confused, because Mission Impossible 1, I enjoyed, but it's a really slow burner. But fans of the original TV series hate it, because obviously the main bad guy, John Voight,
yeah.
His character is one of the main people in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
The second one is awful, and it's John Woo and Tom Cruise at the height of loving themselves.
Yeah.
And the third one is when I genuinely started to get interested in it, because Philip Seymour Hoffman, you can't really do wrong with
That's
Philip
the only
Seymour
one
Hoffman.
I've seen.
And
I've
that's when
this.
J.J. Abrams came on, and then I think that's where the connection with Simon Pegg started to come in, because he then was introduced later on.
And then the fourth one I remember enjoying. Now here's what happens. I haven't seen the fifth one. I didn't realise till I was sitting down. There are some characters in Fallout that I think I'm supposed to know.
Yeah.
Are they in the fifth one then?
Yeah, so in Mission Impossible Fallout, you have a returning cast. So you still got Tom Cruise in the helm as Ethan Hunt, and you still have his band of kind of MIF or whatever they are.
I didn't think Ving Rhames was going to get as much screen time as he actually did.
Ving Rhames, the guy that does not run in any scene. It doesn't matter how much hysteria is happening, you will not see that man move quick. But it's still got Simon Pegg, you got Rebecca Ferguson. So you got the returning cast. Unfortunately, Jeremy Renner didn't turn up to this one. I heard that they were going to kill him off, but he didn't come. He didn't accept the script.
Was he in the last one then?
Yeah, he was in the last one.
I didn't realise
he
was in them. So,
but he turned down the role in this one. But I heard that they were going to kill him off early on. But you also got Alec Baldwin. Now introducing into this one, you got Angela Bassett, who's phenomenal in the American Horror Story shows, and you've got Henry Mustache Cavill. Superman.
So what's this film mostly famous for,
For
Aaron?
the Mustache Gate.
For Mustache Gate. So Sam, do you know about Mustache Gate?
I do, yes.
Explain it to the listeners, boys.
So he filmed all these scenes for Superman, the Justice League film where he played Superman. He had to go back for reshoots when there was issues with the director. Zack Snyder obviously had a personal tragedy. Joss Whedon stepped in to finish the film
and
and to change certain bits. Brought in Henry Cavill, who was not allowed contractually to just shave off his mustache,
which he had grown for this film.
So they had to CGI that bad boy off his face, and it is completely noticeable, particularly in the first 2 minutes of Justice League.
It's the worst thing in the world.
You can't stop looking at his lip. It's annoying.
I've still never seen that.
It's one of the things, though. I think if no one had told you that, you wouldn't have noticed. You just look at it and you go, "There's something off about that."
Yeah.
But as soon as someone mentions, they've CGI'd his mustache off. You can't get over that.
Well, this is a big budget summer blockbuster film that is, like I say, going up against the Bond films and the Bourne films for the title of kind of the big spy action city espionage thriller drama action film. And so this cast is massive and it's brilliant, and I think they all pay off really well. The basic premise to it is that Ethan Hunt, the Tom Cruise's character, and his group of men are trying to intercept a deal that's going down, and where some plutonium is going to be sold. They go in to try and intercept this to buy the plutonium before a group called the Apostles.
Yeah, they're called the Apostles, yeah.
Yeah, which is led by a kind of mercenary called John Lark, who you're not sure who he is, but there's this character called John Lark who's like a bit of an arms dealer who wants to buy this plutonium. And the plan is that they're going to trigger it and set it off at 3 religious sites across the world to create this kind of mass hysteric.
There's a line that keeps coming up with it: is the greater the suffering, the greater the peace. So the idea is you create a disaster, and the way that people heal will save the human race. It will bring about world peace. If you cause enough pain, it will cause enough peace, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
And it's something that always comes back throughout the entire story. And I did enjoy that.
So the 3 sites they want to hit are like Mecca, Jerusalem, so they're kind of not going after one religious group. They want to go after them all. Tom Cruise at the beginning of the film, it's not a spoiler, but they're Ethan Hunt's character, the deal goes wrong. They don't secure the plutonium.
Because he makes the choice to save one life over...
Well, I wasn't going to give that point away.
No.
I was just going to say that the plutonium, they don't get it.
I think, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that line is in the trailer.
Because that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that they look after the one life, not the millions.
Yeah.
Which is why the IMF exists.
That was definitely in the trailer.
He's anti Jack Bauer, isn't he? He's not Jack Bauer when it comes to that.
Jack Bauer would torture you to find out where his eggs were.
So what happens? So what happens is Ethan Hunt and the kind of MIF group.
IMF because it's Impossible Mission Force.
Yeah.
Oh God, they have
to join MI6, which is led by Angela Bassett and Henry Cavill. Sorry, CIA.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, but the
CIA.
MI6 are in it because there's another character who's in the MI6.
So it's these two coming together to try and track down the plutonium and to try and get it before, again, these terrorists get it and start setting off these explosions. What ensues is this kind of traveling across France and London to track down this plutonium to get it before the bad guys do. Now, Henry Cavill's character is this CIA agent called the Hammer, and he's got this absolutely awesome. Not only is he known as the Hammer, he's also August Walker, which I think is a great name for
August Walker.
August Walker. So he's got two of the greatest names ever in film. He's the opposite to Ethan Hunt. So whereas Ethan Hunt is your sniper bullet from a million miles away, precision shot that's ricocheted and and he's very kind of precise. Or he's that sleeper dart. August Walker is I'm going to go in and I'm going to bulldoze anything in my way to get what I need. He's the absolute opposite to Tom Cruise's character.
Beautiful.
And that creates this really great, particularly one great fight scene in a bathroom.
Are you talking about in the bathroom? Because I was going to say, Sam, I know you've not seen it, but have you seen the trailers for it?
Yes.
Because the fight scene in the bathroom is one of my favourite fight scenes in a film I think I've seen in years.
Yeah.
Because, so Harrison Ford is not a great actor by any means, but he is the best actor at looking like he's taken a punch. Like Indiana Jones, that's the best thing about it, is when he gets punched in the face. One is the sound effect, and two is the way he sells the getting punched. Superman, and I'll call him Superman because that's all you'll ever see when you see him now.
You mean mustache?
Mustache Superman. He's brilliant. That fight scene is sensational. I absolutely loved it because it genuinely looked like two spies and possibly other characters. I'm not ruining anything for anyone. Kicking lumps out of each other.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It is a great scene. My only criticism is it's cut a bit too quickly. I think if you had more of a John Wick-esque fight scene, a longer played out, choreographed fight scene, it could have been just that little bit better. It is edited a little bit too sharp for me in what I wanted in that scene. Now, not to go on about it, but that's where James Bond works really well. You look at that first fight scene in the bathroom in Casino Royale.
Yeah.
It's brutal, that fight scene.
First time you've seen something like really brutal in a Bond film as well.
Yeah, it's a real shocker. So what you've got then is this action blockbuster with a very kind of formulaic script. There's going to be these nuclear bombs go off unless, Tom Cruise's character can save the day. Already this is sounding like a Tom Cruise film. But the stunts in this film are phenomenal. So you've got these high-speed chases around France on a motorbike, which Tom Cruise is doing. You've got jumping out of an aeroplane, over France, where it's a halo jump. So you've got all the kind of cameramen jumping with Tom Cruise as well. I heard something like they had to do something like 60 jumps to get all those scenes, and Tom Cruise is doing every single one of those.
Yeah, didn't he broke his leg? Didn't he?
Now you've got that. You've got the ankle breaking scene.
That's from the helicopter.
No, that's when he jumps over the building in London. So
he jumps roof to roof or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, there's a long scene where the camera follows him across the rooftop until the point where he jumps. You can see in his face he's crapping himself as he's about to make that. You can literally see he's like, oh, here it comes. And then the bit where he climbs over on the other side and limps off is because he actually broke his ankle in that scene.
That's awesome.
You've got a lot of Tom Cruise running.
A lot.
You've got a lot of Tom Cruise sprinting in his
them little legs going.
Yeah, and that straight back and them quick arms.
You've got staple Tom Cruise.
You've got an ending in these helicopter scenes which are just insane. Where he's climbing. So he basically boards a helicopter that is already took off by climbing. It's incredible. This is a Tom Cruise film where Tom Cruise is showing you this is what I can do as an actor. And I've watched him in some interviews, and he's a real, he's saying, he's like, in film, I want to give the audience the best I can give them. No actor is doing what that man is doing in terms of stunts and it's not like he's reckless. He's doing it because he's like, no, yeah, I'll do it. Tell me when to jump, I'll do it. And
if you can be that fearless and do it.
Yeah. So the film is formulaic in terms of its storyline. There's two scenes in it where they play the typical Mission Impossible, so you've got this message will self-destruct in a few moments. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, it's still embedded, and the thread of the film is kind of that's all woven into it. There's two scenes that particular where, as I was watching it, I was like, I know what's happening because I've seen the other five. I know that one of them people's wearing a mask and that kind of stuff's happening. But I went with it, and I knew, and it got to the point where, even though I could see what was happening on screen, I was still enjoying it, and I was still a step ahead and thinking, I know, I know what's happening. The end fight scene is ridiculous. It's so over the top. It's kind of Die 4 territory in terms of ridiculous, but enjoyable. And the whole cinema, I was in this packed cinema, were gasping at the end. So it basically ends with a fight scene where a detonator is being kicked around on a cliff edge. And every time it gets closer to the edge, the whole cinema was like, and it was just brilliant.
It's almost as if they'd never seen a film before.
Exactly. 2.5 hours long, which felt like it flew by. The females in this film absolutely are brilliant. Rebecca Ferguson, I thought, was so much better in this than the other ones. And I saw her in The Snowman recently, which I didn't enjoy. So I'm really glad to see her on form. Mm-hmm. Angela Bassett just kicks ass in anything she's in. She's so cool. I couldn't rate this film enough. Ving Rhames, like I say, does not do any movement whatsoever. I'm pretty certain he has no legs anymore. Alec Baldwin steals the show as well in every scene he's in. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. James, if you tell me any different, I'm quitting.
A lot of pressure then. I don't like the ending.
This has been Sorry You In My Seat podcast.
This has been Red Bull. Sorry You In My Seat.
So my problem with it is it was very by the numbers. It was exactly like the other ones. There wasn't enough different about it. What I did like is I liked Mustache Superman. I thought he was a good addition. But the ending, Mustache Superman. Right. So here's my problem. In the third film, Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt gets married.
Yes.
And then by the fourth one, she's in hiding.
Yep.
This film starts off with him having a dream that he can. So they're not together. And she's not really in it. She's in flashbacks. And it's like he gave up his life to save the world. Here's the problem. I don't give a toss about their relationship, but the film makes it like one of the central points, and I couldn't care less. I don't think... Right, so you've seen the film, and you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
They build up to be like this huge defining thing, and there's a good... Ving Rhames explains it better when he's talking to this other woman about this. He does a really good job. I'm not ruining it. He explains Ethan Hunt's situation to this other character, and he does it phenomenally. But I don't give a shit. I just don't care.
First off, stop swearing, James.
Sorry.
Stop swearing for the sake of swearing.
But do you understand what I mean? I'm not invested in the relationship enough to care.
I think the thing with that is, though, if it was just action all the way through it, you've got to give Ethan Hunt that character development and backstory and something to care about.
No, I understand, but they did that in every single one of the previous movies. So where's the difference? They've just changed like slight bits about it. But Simon Pegg, to me, brilliant in it as well. I've always, on the whole, I would like to say I don't dislike it. I just thought it was an all right film. But you would want to go see this if you're a fan of stunts because Tom Cruise knocks it out of the park.
It's a Tom Cruise film.
It's Tom Cruise. It should be called Tom Cruise Knocks Out of the Park doing stunts because you can quite clearly tell it's him doing them and he's fearless. And I respect him because I would never do that.
I was just looking at my notes now and I have put in brackets, mentioned mustache. I thought Henry Superman Cavill, mentioned mustache. It's not going anywhere in terms of in the cinema. It's going to be there for a few weeks. I would recommend people going and watching it.
So would I.
It's got really good reviews, which is quite weird for a film in its sixth round.
It is getting better as well because I don't think it started off great.
This one was significantly better, I think, than quite a few of them. Do you know what? I'm not saying it was a great film. The storyline is ridiculous, and the end fight and the end battle scene, it's ridiculous. It's just popcorn fun and explosions, and I'd rather watch this kind of film and Tom Cruise doing it than Michael Bay doing it with what's his name? Marky Mark.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Don't mention his name.
I didn't.
No.
Marky Mark.
No, the other one.
Oh, yeah.
We're allowed to mention Wahlberg.
Wahlberg's done some alright films. Don't ask me to name any, but he's done some alright ones.
Boogie Nights.
I like Boogie Nights.
Four Brothers.
Four Brothers.
Yeah. All right, what are we going to say? Ted 2? I'll be honest.
The other guys. That
guys.
film is brilliant. Good. Mission Impossible. We'll put it on social media. We'll see what other people say.
Sam, do you think you'd go watch it?
Yes, I'm going to go. I'm working nights all next week. So whereas I will be able to watch films, I'll not be able to go to cinema.
I'll go watch it with you again. I really enjoyed it.
Because I did say last week that I'd be able to give my story of my triumphant
How did that
solo
go?
trip to cinema. I've been really busy, mate. I've not had a chance to go to cinema at all.
Actually, well, as we heard last week, if you do want to go on your own, I could just turn up and sit behind you.
Oh, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that.
In fact, here's a compliment I'm going to give it. When I left, I had half an ice blast melted and turned to syrup in my cup because I forgot I had drink left.
Wow. That's insane. I've never done that.
So when I went to the cinema to see, I went with a friend, but it was the midnight release of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Special friend.
So basically, just before they did that, the Odeon were playing the first Ant-Man about 9:30. So by the time it finished, then at the 1 minute past midnight, you could see that. So the cinema was packed outside, but everyone was dressed up to go see Ant-Man. So
What were they dressed as?
well, weirdly, they were dressed up as like Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers. There was very few people actually dressed up as characters from Ant-Man. So we went into the cinema, and for the longest time, it was just me and him sat in there. And I was thinking, that would make a good horror film series. So you go to this old cinema, and you're the only person there, and you're watching a film, and someone comes in, it's a massive theatre, it's empty, and some bloke comes in and sits directly next to you. And you'd just be like, do you mind? There's anywhere to sit.
I've seen this film. He's wearing a big anorak.
No, I'm just saying. This would be a good horror film. So you take a step, so you change seats, and you move forward a bit, and this bloke's still behind you. And then the film starts, and you look behind, and he's gone. And then you're like, well, where's he gone? And then you freak out, and you start hearing
the dog and bone.
And you start hearing these things behind you. So I was just thinking, film squeal coming to a cinema near you. And obviously it's got lots of sequel opportunities for Aliens.
Yes,
so,
obviously.
So I think people should go out there, and that's a third film that we can now copyright and say that we own.
Yes.
None of these films are getting made. None of them.
I'd watch the Dog and Bone.
Oh, you don't even remember the name, James.
That's insulting, James.
Well, it's called Dog and Bone.
Dog and Bone.
I'm just disappointed that you haven't got a role for Michael Shannon in it.
We do need to bring in Michael Shannon probably next week. And
next week.
Yeah, the axis of awesome that is Michael Shannon. And the idea that we've got around how you define all acting and how Michael Shannon is at the top of that.
He is at the top. Who's at the bottom?
No, I'm not even going to start.
Save it for next week.
Good stuff.
Sorry.
So that was that one. The only other one I wanted to talk about was Ant-Man and the Wasp. But does anyone want to jump in with something else they've been watching?
I'll jump in really quickly with Tao. Just a couple of minutes.
Another Netflix
film, which is very weird because I only watched it because the trailer popped up at the top and I thought, it looks kind of good. It was afterwards I realised that Gary Oldman's in it. Now if I knew Gary Oldman was in it, I would have watched it for that reason.
When you was watching this and Gary Oldman was in it, did you think this is the kind of guy that could create a dog phone?
Well, you see, it's only his voice. He isn't in it.
Did he have the voice that says, I've just created a dog phone?
100%.
There you go.
100%.
If he's just won the Oscar for Churchill in
Churchill.
Darkest Hour.
Oh, Darkest Hour, sorry.
And if he's next in Gerald Butler's next flop, because he's in that Hunter Killer film.
That film looks like about 8 different movies that they've squeezed together and gone, this looks like a film.
So now he's in Tao.
Yeah.
What's Tao about?
Tao is basically, it's about a woman who's kidnapped and held captive in like a real sort of futuristic smart house. Everything is done by AI.
I've seen the trailer for this.
There's a big, the AI is just like a big robot. Everything is done by this robot.
He does the voice of the house.
He does the voice of Tao, who is the AI.
That's cool.
And it's basically about this. The scientist takes her and he's put like an AI chip in the back of her head, and he's doing this big research into how it can affect the brain capacity by putting this thing in the back of the neck. So the female's got to try and escape. There's 3 of them at the beginning. Whittles down, like very, very early on, it whittles down to just the lead actress, and she's trying to get out of the house, but everything is controlled by Tao, which is the AI. So it's about her trying to manipulate the AI into letting her go. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it. There is really no one in it. It's just Gary Oldman is Tao, and then I can't remember what the other 2 are called. Mika Munro and Ed Skrein. He looked really familiar, but I don't know what else I've seen.
Is he the bad guy in the Deadpool film? Did he play in the first Deadpool one?
The British guy in the first film.
Yeah, his name's Ed Skrein or something.
Is it? It could be. Could be. I thought it was fantastic.
I'd give it a watch because it sounds good. It sounds like
it's very good because it's just all about her manipulating the AI. He keeps coming back and noticing things, and she's trying to teach. She's talking to the AI. Obviously, he is just there to do as he's told. Yeah, and then she starts teaching him about what's outside and about Earth because he doesn't know any of this. He only knows what's in the house, what his job is. I find it quite clever. You 2 might not because you see into things a little bit more than I do, but I just thought it was a really good watch. There's not a lot of explosions. There's not a lot of any of that.
Are there any explosions?
Yes. But
Is there any boobs and gore?
No.
Do you know
Which
what,
is
to
a
me,
shame because the main character is very lovely looking.
to me, it sounds like Cube meets Ex Machina, and I love both those films, so I'd give it a watch.
It sounds like the house from 13 Ghosts without the ghosts in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
I remember that film. That was when they started remaking like House on Haunted Hill.
Matthew Lillard, mate. Let's
Matthew
go.
Lillard.
Let's go there if we want to talk about
It's
that
got
film.
Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah,
James
it does.
Masters right at the beginning of House on Haunted Hill. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Tow's on my list. It's
yeah,
one of mine to
I didn't
watch.
realise Gary
Just a
Oldman
real
was
quick
in it.
one. Yeah, neither did I until right at the very end when I was like, who is, because it doesn't sound anything like him. I was like, who is that voice? He played very well. And there's some bits where Tao is getting hurt. He's like deleting some of the memory and he gets hurt whilst it happens and he starts screaming. And that's when I was like, I know that voice from somewhere. So that's when I looked news. But yeah, just very quickly, just please try it. It's one I would definitely recommend for people.
Because Netflix at the moment, one of the beauties of Netflix and why I'm a big fan is that they commission and they produce films that might not have made it if it was relying on people attending the cinema.
Absolutely.
And that kind of
I don't think I'd see it at the cinema.
yeah.
but-
So do you think it would have even been made for the big screen?
I think yes.
Yeah.
I think if it was made for the big screen, they probably would have put maybe a couple more faces that were well known in there.
I sometimes like a film that doesn't.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant though. I
My-
really did enjoy it. And again, that was one of those films that I think it's only about an hour and 45 long, but it just flew by. It started and next minute it was ending, and I just loved the story.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so far, I mean, I've watched the war. This is really weird because we described the show as myself and James being the two film fans and yourself being along for the ride. And so far, you've talked about The Circle. I watched it. I watched The Warriors because you said, and I'm probably going to watch Tower now.
Yeah.
And James, I'm not going to watch Green Street. So.
Although there is grandfather in it because I tried to make him watch The Warriors for the longest time until he finally watched it.
Actually,
It was the game. It was the game that eventually got you to watch
I bought
it.
the game for the original Xbox,
Yeah.
and then went and I completed it. and thought I loved that.
Was the game
And
as
then
camp as the film?
The
game
game's
was
brilliant.
phenomenal.
The game's fantastic.
so good.
Right. So, ending on a quick on the film I liked. So it was International Beer Day the other day, and beer.
I think I
Fest.
celebrated.
Yeah, you always celebrate it, mate.
Every
Every
day,
day's beer day.
every
Every
day, my
day's
Every
friend.
day. So the film Beer Fest 2006, from the comedy troupe known as Broken Lizard.
Yep.
It stars Donald Sutherland and Jürgen Prochnow. It's got a cameo by Willie Nelson right at the end. Basically, a group of friends go to Germany to an underground drinking competition and hijinks ensue, and then they enter a competition to win a secret beer formula. And it's fun. It's fun. It's funny. It's from the group of people who made Super Troopers.
Super Troopers, that's the one I know, yeah.
You see, one of them that gets criminally underrated in my opinion, the Slamming Salmon. It's fantastic. The Slamming Salmon is
You've been telling me twice that for years.
it's in my top 10 comedies, mate. It's so funny. I cannot stop laughing at the Slamming Salmon.
Do you think it's the top film with salmon in the title?
No, because I think it's better than
Salmon Fishing in the Yemen.
Salmon Fishing
I
in the
love
Yemen.
that film.
And I do like that film. Ewan
God, that
McGregor's
film's good.
charming in that film.
He's delicious in that film.
But no, Slamming Salmon to me is fantastic.
Delicious.
Yeah, I often use delicious and Ewan McGregor in the same sentence.
But I would recommend for a good hour and a half that you've got Beer Fest. Can't go wrong with it.
Yeah,
It is what you'd expect. But like I say, the comedy troupe Broken Lizard, I'm actually a huge fan of.
Did it make you chortle?
It did make me chortle.
I'm up
It
for a
made,
chortle.
made me chortle times two.
Wow.
so how many times do you have to laugh out loud in a film for it to be classed as funny?
I don't know, but you see, because one of my favourite films, The Big Lebowski, there's only one scene I've ever cried at, and it's where he gets a coffee mug thrown at
I
his
love
face.
that bit. I was going to say it's got
No, sorry. There's another bit. Is when he quickly thinks he's been a secret agent, runs up and colours in the thing, and it turns out that because he thought the character had written a phone number down, he's just drawn a cock.
Yeah. I was going to say those are the best two bits in that film.
But no,
Actually, no, John Goodman's scenes in that are actually really good.
or
yeah.
right at the end with Donnie's, and he's emptying his ashes out, and it's all over the. Oh, do you know what? I don't know actually. Because
a lot of laugh
I
out
said
loud
there's only
things.
one, but I've listed loads of Big Lebowski.
Because we laughed a lot over producers earlier, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's got some of the most iconic.
Have you seen The Producers?
No, I haven't.
Producers is Mel Brooks' first film.
Which I didn't realise it was his first directed.
Yeah, it's the first film that he directed. And it's essentially... So it's about not a failing, but it's about a struggling theatre director. Producer, sorry, ironically. Producer. And Gene Wilder comes in as his accountant who's come to check the books and somehow slips in that actually you can make a lot of profit on a film that fails.
Because when you've got someone who backs your film, you have to give them some of the profits back. But if it's a flop, there are no profits.
Yeah, if it's
you don't have to pay them back.
It's a flop. If it's a flop, no one's going to look at the books to see where the money went. So they come up with this idea to make the worst film to go on Broadway, the worst play to go on Broadway, to the point where they get money to do a play called
Springtime for Hitler.
Springtime for Hitler, which is a musical comedy about Adolf Hitler, with full band singing full musical
Springtime
numbers.
for Hitler.
Yeah, and
Germany.
they're convinced that if it's an absolute flop, they can take all the profits for themselves, and then ensues all the comedy around it. It's like what I talked about in episode 1 about See No Evil, Hear No Evil. There's this thing around Gene Wilder films in the day where they're just funny hearing about it. And a lot of that is because of Mel Brooks, and what Mel Brooks does. It's just a funny idea all the way through. It's a weird, seeing it because it's on obviously the 50th anniversary today. So we went and watched it. You forget about films of that era, how loud they are. Like everyone shouts at each other, and the acting style. This is something that you pointed out, wasn't it? That the acting style is so over the top.
Yeah,
because it kind of has to be.
Yeah, it's chewing the scenery in every bit. But there's something about it.
But it works so well.
Yeah, and if you watch Gene Wilder in it, he's very much aware, of how to play off his, the other characters, and to hold back in his delivery of lines just a second to get that extra laugh and then deliver. And it breaks the fourth wall all the time. The people are looking at the camera.
You see, because some of the times I think they did it by mistake.
Yeah.
There's nothing funnier. When you're hysterical and nowadays someone throws water on you. This film, he's screaming about, I'm hysterical. And then the guy throws water in his chest. He goes, now I'm wet and hysterical. So he slaps him in the face. And he goes, I'm in pain and wet and still hysterical.
Yeah.
It's just fucking brilliant.
The funniest bit in it is when they start to audition for Hitler in Broadway.
Hundreds of it.
So it cuts to the scene and there's all these Hitlers on stage. And they're all saluted in the air and stuff. And
it's like, not the dancing Hitlers. We want the singing Hitlers.
Because you're the dancing Hitlers, go over there. It's like, we only want to see this. And the dancing Hitlers literally dance off. It's so funny, isn't it? And so they're trying to cast the worst actor. It's the worst script. They try and cast it. And then ultimately, it turns out to be an absolute hit because it's so bad. It's absolutely brilliant and comedy gold.
So here's the thing, Sam. You've seen the remake with Matthew Broderick. And because you and I watched it once, it was awful.
Well, it's funny because when you was talking about it, I was like, I've never seen this film, but I know everything you're saying.
Yeah,
so
it's the one where Will Ferrell plays. Will Ferrell plays the guy who writes plays like this ultra Nazi.
I knew this remake. I don't overly remember seeing it, but I must have done because I remember all of it.
You and I saw it, and we hated it. Okay. But there's no world in which Matthew Broderick replaces Gene Wilder.
Matthew Broderick is definitely a theatre fan. I can't think of anything I really, really enjoyed him in. Obviously Inspector Gadget is just what it is.
Most people like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't like
it. I enjoyed that film.
No, I don't like it.
He keeps popping up in stuff now. He was in Manchester by the Sea, which was a stunning film. And he just pops into that just really randomly, kind of towards the end of the film. And you're like, what the hell is Matthew Broderick?
It's Matthew Broderick. Remember me? Yeah. I'm Matthew Broderick.
Remember me? I married Sarah Jessica Parker.
I'm sorry about that.
Actually, to be fair, I did say he was really good in Lion King.
He did voice.
I think he has the voice of an adult lion, an adult Disney lion. I think he's really well for that situation.
Well, there you go. So we know what needs to be next.
Yeah, Lion King 2.
Yes,
there is a Lion King 2.
3.
There also live action Lion King coming soon, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Donald Glover's just been cast, hasn't he?
I like Donald Glover.
I do. Big fan.
So we've been to cinema this week. Well, you haven't, but it's been a huge, huge time for trailers.
Yeah. Before we got trailers, can I just do Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yeah, that's cool. It's your host and it's your show.
Just so you heard that, he said it's my show. I didn't say that.
Excuse me, it's your show.
I didn't say that.
I'd
just get you guys together each week and ask you to talk. That doesn't mean it's my show, does it?
It's my house.
I've brought literally nothing.
Actually, you didn't bring your usual beers, which you provide us with.
That's because by the time we finished producers, it was past 4 o'clock, and Sunday you can't buy alcohol after 4 o'clock.
We need to stop doing this on Sundays, don't we?
Or you need to buy the alcohol on a Saturday, James. And possibly chill it overnight.
So
I would have done if someone hadn't drunk my Dr. Pepper.
No idea.
Offer drinks are available.
I've been thinking, I really want to go to the cinema to see Ant-Man and the Wasp. Has anyone seen that?
I've seen it.
Oh, there you go. We should talk about that one.
That was seamless.
Nobody would know.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Full circle.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's quite an interesting one, actually, Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I think it's one of them films where normally I really enjoy a film and I go away and the next day I'm like, it was good, but was it because I was surrounded by a lot of people laughing? And so this one I watched it all the way through and I thought, yeah, it's okay. But then the next day I was like, actually, no, I did actually quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
To set the scene, this is Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, essentially. And just to hit at the bat straight away, it's the first Marvel film in the string of the Marvel universe at the moment to have a female character in the title. So Evangeline Lilly is the first female superhero titled in a film.
He's soon to be joined by Captain Marvel.
It will be joined by Captain Marvel, but Evangeline Lilly is just taking it.
Good choice as well. Yeah, great actress.
Now she shines in this film. Let's start with the fact it's directed by Peyton Reed, who did the first Ant-Man film
after Edgar Wright.
Now Edgar Wright stepped away from the project at the last minute, and you think actually that would have been quite interesting what Edgar Wright's take on it would be. But Peyton Reed's, I think the first film was really good, and again he performs in this one. The cast in this film is stunning. Like if you look at it on paper, Paul Rudd. I mean, Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd. He's so funny.
There's not much bad.
Doesn't age though, does he?
Doesn't age
because when he appeared, when I remember seeing him like Halloween, like 4 or 5, whatever. He's exactly the same age as he is now.
He is. He's still in Clueless to me. He's still back there. Yeah. This is a Paul Rudd comedy, and because he's got a writing credit in this film as well. He's one of the writers, and it is very much a Paul Rudd comedy. So in the film, like say Evangeline Lilly, like Michael Douglas providing kind of like the kind of senior acting credits in this film, and he does it brilliantly alongside Michelle Pfeiffer. You've got Mark Pena, which we talked about earlier. Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Wow,
we love Lawrence Fishburne.
We do indeed.
Now, Randall Park's in it, who his comedy timings is brilliant. If you don't know who Randall Park is, Google it. You would have seen him in films, and you'd be like, right, yeah, I get it now.
James, whilst he talks, you do that.
Yeah, I will, mate. I'm on it.
You've also got Hannah John Kamen in it. Now, she's phenomenal. She plays the kind of antagonist called Ghost in it, the kind of anti-hero.
She does look badass in the trailer.
Now, she was in Ready Player One as well last year, which I really enjoyed her in. It was earlier this year. And she's also been in Black Mirror and stuff like that.
I know who Randall Park is.
Yeah, so...
Let's have a look.
Randall Park.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Google Randall Park.
We found Randall Park.
His comedy in this is absolutely stunning. Yeah, Hannah John Kamen is brilliant. She really adds that kind of serious role in this, and she acts really, really well. And then you've got Walter Goggins in it as well.
I love Walter Goggins.
The most baddiest of bad guy people. He has a bad guy face.
He plays the transsexual in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm not Googling it.
Wicked. Yeah, so he's in that. What's the Western one with Timmy Oliphant, the TV show?
Justified.
Justified.
To me, he'll always be the Shield, and I love the Shield, and everyone should watch the TV series The Shield.
And he's in Hateful Eight as well, Tarantino's last film. He's really good in that as well.
Brilliant in that, actually.
But he screams baddie all the way through this film. Every time he's in it, you're like, baddie. Stunning cast. Now, the film takes place 2 years after Civil War. This is a Civil War sequel, not
it's
Infinity
before
War.
Infinity Wars.
Right, okay. It's happening
so
almost parallel.
I was just saying, Infinity Wars, they say that he's under house arrest, so I assume that's what he is.
Which is in this film. So he's coming to the end of house arrest time, so he's given kind of like a 2-year kind of time that he's under house arrest, which is because of the crimes committed when he went over to Berlin in the Civil War film. And he's about 3 days from the end of that sentence. So he's been told that if he breaks house arrest, he'll be put in prison for up to 20 years. And as we know from the first film, his character in it, Scott Lang, is all about being a dad first and foremost before a superhero. So he's that kind of grounded superhero.
Yeah.
And in this, he's kind of 3 days from getting this up and running. From his sentence being finished, and he hasn't seen Michael Douglas or Evangeline Lilly's characters from the first film, who play Hope and Hank. I'm going to get their names mixed up all the time, so let's just go with that. The dad and daughter from the first film. He hasn't seen them because he stole the suit to go to Germany to fight alongside Captain America.
Yeah.
So they're disgruntled at him because he stole the suit. And then later in it, you find out Evangeline Lilly's a bit upset because she wasn't invited to go along as well. So that's why they've been disgruntled. As luck would have it, 3 days before his house arrest is over, they come into contact because Michael Douglas thinks he's found a link to finding his missing wife, who we know from the first film went to the quantum realm, shrunk so small that she went amongst the atoms and never returned. And because at the end of the last film, and Scott Lang did it, Ant-Man did it, They reckon that there's a connection now between the two, and he might be the link to getting Michelle Pfeiffer back from that quantum realm. So that's the setup of the film. The good thing about this film is and I used this expression earlier, and I'm really liking it. This is the aloe vera or the after sun to Infinity Wars. So after Infinity Wars, you know where we all got burnt and scarred?
Well, we got burnt.
We emotionally got battered from that film. Marvel needed to bring out a film after that just gave us a little bit of a laugh and soothed us a little bit. It kept the story going, but it wasn't a big hitter. It wasn't another Iron Man film or a full film. It introduced this, and that to me is extremely clever for Marvel to have done that. It picks up the storyline, like I say, more from Civil War than it does Infinity Wars, and off we go with this storyline that is quite. There's no real big sense of peril. The world's not going to end. No one's going to let a bomb go off.
I think you need that though to keep yourself grounded because the universe is at stake in the other timeline.
It's a very grounded film. You've got him under this situation where he doesn't want to go to jail. He wants to be a dad. He needs to help out his friends who he feels like he betrayed. You've got this lost wife and mother, who's been in the quantum realm for this amount of time. You've got this ghost character who, again, has been affected by some project and research that happened years before. So you've got all these storylines that kind of interwove into each other. And it's just it's just a nice film. It's funny. It's really funny. There's one particular scene where they go to a school, and I'm not going to give anything away, but when you watch it, the bit where they go to the school is so funny. If they just did the whole film in that, I was laughing all the way through that scene. I'm going to laugh now thinking about it. It's absolutely brilliant. That's not to say it's not without its problems, the film. It is a typical Marvel science film. There's a lot of Doctor Who talk. It's a lot of typing computer keys and going, if we reverse,
when they talk about the polarity,
I was literally going to say that. Yeah, if we reverse the polarities, we'll, the continuum transfunctional will X, Y, and Z, and you get all that kind of stuff. And they say the word quantum so many times, it's a bit mind.
It loses all meaning.
Yeah, quantum realm, quantum this, quantum physics, quantum, everything's quantum. And they actually make a joke in that halfway through the film. They're like, do you just put quantum in front of everything? And it's like, yeah, I'm thinking that as well. But what it does really well is it kind of takes everything that you liked about the first film. So the fact that he doesn't just shrink, he can grow really big, and you get all those comedy set pieces. You got the fact that the Wasp is absolutely badass, and she can make things like a salt shaker massive, and a Pez dispenser turns into a weapon at one point. You've got all of that kind of stuff. You've got all that playing around with sizes. So you've got that kind of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of feel to it as well. It's really, really enjoyable. I really, really, really liked it. I think everyone performs really well in it, and I think it'll be number one this week with it being a Marvel follow-up.
Yeah, I mean the problem is it's Marvel film, so it's going to be number one, isn't it? I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
The end post credits, as we know with Marvel.
I was going to say, when we do this, we should say, is there a post credits?
Yes,
is it right at the end?
No, or is it halfway through because you need to see it.
You need to see it. How many? Just the one?
As I know that I left after one because I googled that there was only one.
Okay. I was going to say the lights. Odeon now put the lights on afterwards, so if they stay dark, there's an after credit scene.
Oh, okay.
Well, they turned the lights on, even though this one ain't come off. But I was like, it's Marvel. There's going to be an end of scene.
That's a douche move.
Yeah, and when it happened, so I was talking about the reaction with Mission Impossible. This end post credit scene when it happened, the cinema screamed.
I'm not going to say it, but I can kind of guess what happens in it.
So. Well, I'm not going to say any more than that, but definitely watch that.
No, we're not going to.
It's the first time I've seen people scream in a cinema when it was. Oh.
Is it worse than the collective after Infinity Wars of the collective of people going, who's that? Like, what's Samuel L. Jackson? Who's he sent a text to?
Yeah, it was.
Because I had to point out, like you did at your cinema screen, I had to go, it's Captain Marvel. You just had to, it's Captain Marvel. Yeah. Stop asking that.
Just people didn't get it.
Just this collective.
We knew that was one of the next ones.
Just this collective of people going, hey, what? Who's that? Is he just ordered a pizza? What's going on?
So it's like, to me, this goes hand in hand with Mission Impossible in the sense that it's riddled with kind of questionable, really, that's the story. That's what you're going to say. But it's summer. It's a summer blockbuster, and this is the kind of films that come out, and that we love. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, brilliant. Do check it out because I want to have another conversation about this.
Yeah,
probably at the one of the next
I promise
shows.
you, as soon as I finish my nights, I'm on it.
It's Thursday, I'm seeing it.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked.
Great. Trailers.
Yes, trailers.
Oh,
it's been a big week for trailers.
It. I meant to watch some before we started recording.
Really?
Yeah, well, you two talk.
Well,
have you seen the Venom trailer?
The big one has got to be the Venom trailer.
Yeah, I saw Venom.
Venom trailer 2 looks much better than Venom trailer 1.
Oh, yes.
So,
because you see Venom.
The only downside I've got is there's two downsides. One, because of the ownership legalities, we'll never see Spider-Man Venom, which I think is important to get the Venom character. And two, the memes of putting eyes on Venom has ruined the Venom character.
I've not seen any of them yet. Really?
They put eyes, and he's just like a
like googly eyes and stuff.
Yeah, big googly ones.
It's really funny. Once you've seen that meme, though, you're going to be devastated. Do you remember when Logan came out, black and white cut? Someone's going to have to do a cut of googly eyes Venom just for me.
God, I love Logan. Yeah, Venom, it looks quite interesting, actually. That second trailer looks a lot better than the first. I heard that there's a rumour that Woody Harrelson's been seen on set and he might play Clear's Cassidy.
As Carnage.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I'm not a big comic book guy, but I do know enough about Venom to get me interested in this film. And Tom Hardy, you can't really go wrong with.
No, you can't. I don't know. In the trailer, it doesn't look like he overacts.
I do like
the voice of Venom in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was when we did on our social media the Venom picture and the hashtag that they're using is We Are Venom, and underneath it I did the second hashtag.
Not Topher Grace.
Yeah, not Topher Grace who played him in Spider-Man 3. Topher Grace played Venom and everyone hated it. So on our post I put We Are Venom and then second hashtag, but not Topher Grace. And no one commented on it. And I was gutted. I was like, oh, bless. Yeah, that one's cool. The Hunter Killer trailer? Oh, God.
Like I said earlier, it's like the studio executives had 8 movies to make and just went, sod it.
Super Submarine.
Sod it, make one.
Gary Oldman. Gerald Butler.
I was going to say there's a political aspect to it.
Awesome.
No, it does not.
It's going to be up there with Geostorm in terms of my most ridiculous films.
I nearly watched. That's on Now TV.
I've seen Geostorm.
I know. I'm with you to hate it, but sorry.
Right, start Geostorm with some alcohol and take a shot every time something stupid happens.
You will be dead.
See if you can still walk at the end of that film. I'm not looking forward to that. I will watch it knowing that it's going to be bad.
I'll watch it purely because I won't have to pay. So I will watch it.
Aquaman.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet.
I have seen it.
I saved it to watch before we recorded this podcast and then forgot.
So, looks good. Looks what you'd expect from it.
A lot of people are saying.
Right, so I'm getting confused now by the main actor's name. Can anyone help
Jason
me?
Momoa.
Jason Momoa is cool. He's cool personified.
He's the coolest dude ever.
And he's bringing cool to this character who, let's be honest, we all used to make fun of as a kid. He's no Batman, he's no Superman. You know, he needs to stay hydrated. Jamie looks like a bit of a badass. Mm-hmm. They've got some, from the trailers, some epic fight scenes with sea creatures going on. Quite interested, quite invested.
The sharks on leashes and everything.
Sharks on leashes. I want to see this, like they're riding crabs into battle. Colour me interested. I'm going to go see this film. Aquaman's not something that... Well, it's it's my
colour me interested.
Colour me interested. So I will put it down as a colour me interested.
There's someone wrote that they don't look wet enough when they're underwater.
Yes, no, I've heard that. What was it? There was a bit of stick about his hair, and they've digitally changed his hair to keep fans happy.
Yeah, he does look like he's lining up for a L'Oreal advert, doesn't he? Other shampoos are available. There's I think Amber Heard's in it as well. I think she's always interesting to watch.
She is. You should watch it. It's a very good trailer.
Yeah, it's links to Shazam.
I'm going to.
DC are just throwing all the toys out the pram.
Shazam seems to be
the toys out. Have these.
Yeah, Shazam, like us.
Shazam seems to be basically the play on we've gone too dark, or we've gone so dark you can't see us.
Oh, really?
So have Shazam, which is it's a childlike superhero doing childlike things, and if dark's not working for you, maybe try it.
Well, yeah,
to me it looks too childish though. So,
but I suppose you could say that about some of the Marvel ones.
No, they've gone. I think they've actually purposely gone a bit further than that.
Okay,
which is a bit weird because now I get confused by this because this rumor's been going around for quite some time that The Rock has signed on to play Black Adam.
Yeah,
who's obviously part of the Shazam mythos.
He's wanted it for ages. Yeah,
and if that happens, I'd be more interested.
I think
to see where it goes.
I think he's planning a Black Adam film and then the crossover.
Yeah, so I would be interested to see how that even goes. Not knowing that much about Shazam.
I heard the other day. Did you know that Skyscraper was originally built for a trilogy?
I don't really understand how that would work. Another building in another city?
It either means that he's going to get trapped in 3 buildings or the same building 3 times. I don't know.
I'd rather it be the same building 3 times. And by the third one, he's just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Neve Campbell can sort this out on her own.
There's a Predators trailer.
Is this a new one?
Yeah, so they brought out the second trailer because the
first one did not look good.
The first one I didn't really like the look of.
I watched the first one. I don't think I saw this.
No, the first one.
No,
I think the first one tried to tease us, but it teased us in the wrong way because it teased us in a way that made you think they're not showing it because it looks bad.
Yeah,
maybe.
Whereas the second trailer seemed to address that concern and go, "No, this is what you want. Trust us, it's in it."
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's in good hands. I mean, Shane Black's directing.
I have seen it. Sorry, yes, I have.
Yeah,
Shane Black made me watch it.
Yeah, Shane Black's directing, who was in the first film and had a writing credit to the first film. So you think it's in good hands. I didn't realise that Tom Jane was in it. You know, arguably the second best Punisher, next to Dolph Lundgren. No,
no. Sorry.
Who?
No, I forgot his name.
I forgot his name as well. But it's also got the bad guy from the Logan film in it, boy. I can't remember his name, but he, you know. So now I'm interested based on the character listing. I mean, it's a Predator film, so I can't imagine it's going to be too, you know.
I do like the
Shakespeare, is it?
I do like the film series, though. I think they always do a good aspect. Even the second one, I quite liked. Not Predators, Predator 2 with Bill Paxton and. For God's sake, this is awful.
Ray Stevenson was the other Punisher.
Danny Glover.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Equalizer 2.
Is it true? Is this first sequel he's ever done?
First sequel Denzel Washington's done.
I've not seen the trailer. I've not seen Equalizer, but I was reading Tale Film Magazine the other day and the big article on Equalizer 2. So that's made me want to go and watch the first one. Ready for?
No, the first one's all right.
It was Steve Buckthorpe approved.
Oh, there you go.
You've got to see this film.
Yeah, it got. I think it got more of a praise than it. Then it was good. It was good.
I completely agree with that.
Pretty interesting use of a nail gun at the end of the film.
The ending of the film is Home Alone if it was an 18.
In a Home Depot. The thing is, I've watched 2 trailers for that now, and one, the second trailer that's come out, I think has given away a massive plot spoiler because I'll talk about this after the film's out, but in the second film, someone says something, and I'm like, oh, okay. From watching 2 trailers, I think I figured out a pivotal part of this story. Yeah. Robin Hood trailer. You seen this, rubbish?
I have seen it. It does not look good.
It does not look good, does it?
The only thing I've seen, there was just one shot of it, and it was like Robin Hood doing like a mid-air somersault.
Yeah, he's turning around in slow motion with his like gold spraying out. Yeah, it's bad.
Well, that's the only thing I saw, and to me, that looked quite good. I was like, oh.
I mean, it's going to be up there with Sword in the Stone, the King Arthur film, isn't it? And those kind of, you know, historically incorrect, you know,
which is a problem because Jamie Foxx is, to me, it seems to be it's trying to be Prince of Thieves. Where, you know, Morgan Freeman now being replaced by Jamie Foxx, trying to teach young Robin Hood everything he knows. He does not look good.
No, it doesn't.
Which is irritating because I quite like Jamie Foxx and I would like to like Jamie Foxx.
It's got one of them really bad taglines where it's like the story you know. No, it's the characters you know, the story you didn't.
Oh, it
it's
doesn't sound good.
I'm certain this is going to be up there with the most inaccurate historical films ever made, next to Pearl Harbor. You know, it's just, I'm not looking forward to it.
No, I'm with Aaron. I didn't know.
What was the J.J. Abrams one we watched?
What
is it J.J. Abrams? A new...
Oh, the trailer. Overlord?
Overlord. Have you seen that?
The kind of Nazi...
that is my
That looks horror all over that.
Right.
That is my film.
You see, to me, there's only one decent trailer that's come out lately. And the film, the acting in it, the cast list looks fantastic. The stories I've heard about the director who also wrote it. Big Trouble at El Royale.
Yes.
Starring Jeff Bridges, Chris Hemsworth.
Yep.
John Hamm.
Yep. Oh, I love John Hamm.
I seriously, I'm
going to talk about now. Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to this film. I know so little about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am so excited. I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah.
October.
It's got that kind of Coen Brothers feel, hasn't it?
It's got a Coen Brothers feel. There's something about it. It's drawing me in. So when I went to go see Mission Impossible, it was a different trailer where they were talking, where they showed only like 10 seconds of the trailer. Then they went to like interviews with the cast. And the cast was saying all these fantastic things. I don't know what it is about this film. I desperately want to see it. It's set in a hotel. Half it's in Nevada. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm looking. That's my top one at the minute that I'm looking forward to. Definitely, yeah. Good. We need to sum up the show. We need to end it. So at the end of each episode, we start looking at films that we're either going to throw in the hole.
I'm just getting my book and my pen ready.
Sam's referring to his notes.
So I need to write these in. Yeah. Because if we don't, we forget, and I never want anything coming out my hole once it's in there.
So this is going to be a bit difficult because not everyone here has seen City of God, and I want to vault to the City
I
of God.
can't agree
So
with that.
The opposite to the whole is the vault. So we've got
we were talking about that.
So we've got two areas now that we look into at the end of the film. If a film is really bad and something that we don't like, we throw it into the hole. If a film is immortalized in its brilliance, then we put it into the vault in terms of the top 100. And
what's the opposite of a hole? The solid. We'll throw it in the solid.
yes, and it's all about
one of them goes in the hole, one of them goes in the
it's all
solid.
about like kind of trying to find this 100 top films, isn't it? For us,
which is essentially what we're here for.
Yeah, this is
It's
what the quest
it's
is.
The search for the best film.
Yeah.
Problem is, at this point, we've spoke for an hour and 45 minutes about hundreds of different films, so it's going to be hard to remember the ones that we.
Well,
said.
I know the one that I'd nominate to throw in the hole.
Aaron, this
Green
will
Street.
be number 10. Oh no, sorry, the vault on the hole. Sam's hole. In the hole, not the pit. Once it's in the hole, mate, it can never come out. We can
So
never
this is
talk
where we're
about
going
it
to
again.
confuse.
I think it's time to put the hole and the pit of Sarlacc together.
So the whole are horrible films. The Pit of Sarlacc is films that we just are not allowed to talk about ever again.
Okay.
So let's throw Green Street in there.
Yes, have we all seen Green Street? It's
Yes.
gone. I don't want to ever talk about that film
Well,
again.
I quite liked
detest
it. You don't want to fight for it?
No, I'm not going to fight for it.
You've got-
I do not care enough about that film.
What's
to,
in Sarlacc's Pit at the minute?
We've got Zombie
Rule
Strippers.
number one, Sam, was you're not allowed to talk about films that are in the pit.
Oh, okay, I can't tell you, I'm afraid. Can't tell you.
Dead.
So what we're sticking in there? Green Street?
Green Street.
Yeah, put it in.
See you later, guys. Bye, Green Street. I've not finished writing it yet. And it's in the pit.
And then I think
Bye.
in the hole, so these are the films that we just didn't enjoy.
What was that one you said that you got really offended by?
No, I'm going to save that for a rant.
You're saving for a run?
Yeah, because that's going in the pit.
Oh, wow.
Fuck it is. Yeah.
Let me watch it first.
Yeah.
I want to be able to agree with you if we're going to do this.
Let's go in the pit.
I don't have anything for in the hole. I've actually
No,
enjoyed the
Green Street's
majority of
the one I wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, that's gone. I've enjoyed most of the films we spoke about today.
And anything in the vault.
No,
Now, the rule for the vault is all three of us must have seen it.
Now, it was only
Right.
spoke about slightly, but you got to put the Big Lebowski in there, haven't you?
I do. The Big Lebowski is one of my favourite films. Have you all seen The Big Lebowski?
Oh, yes.
Can't stand it.
You really not?
Get
I
out.
love it.
If it wasn't your podcast, Aaron.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
See The Big Lebowski in there, and I think you should watch the original Producers because it's their 50th anniversary, and I think the producers should be in there. And City of God, but obviously you need to watch City of God.
But the one that we've all seen, The Big Lebowski. And we'll do a podcast on Coen Brothers and The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
at some
yes, we
point.
will, and I'll enjoy
deep dive
myself.
into that film.
Big Lebowski. Is there anything else we're quite happy with that?
Yeah, I like Ant-Man. I like Mission Impossible, but obviously you guys need to have seen it.
Yes.
I don't think that they sit in that kind of the vault territory, but they're good films. Autopsy of Jane Doe, God knows, I can't really remember. I was a bit gone at that point.
So
I think the
that's
dog liked it. Warriors, you've already kind of talked about,
Yes.
in detail. So I'm happy with
Oh,
that.
by the way, The Warriors I'd put in.
Would you, Aaron? I don't think you would.
I wouldn't. Let's say this for another week, because I liked it, but I didn't like it enough.
Okay, that's
I
fair
didn't
enough.
like it enough.
It's not for everyone.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So
Can I just give a shout out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We discussed it there. Normally, throughout the last few episodes, we give a bit of a shout out for people that's commented. We haven't really got the time because we're running out, but we did get this. On the last episode, was talking about the best
movie combo.
Yeah, the movie and food combo. We spoke about that, and we actually got a message from James Shepherd, Shep, who said, "Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, best movie and food combo: tacos and goon.
So specific.
Tacos and goon. What? Why are you
That
asking?
sounds like a really bad detective movie.
One of them's tacos. The other one's a goon.
Early Tom Hanks would be in this film.
Yeah.
He continues. He continues this message with, "Neither are my favourite food or film, but what's better? Soft shelled beef tacos with a little kick of spice, a bit of tequila, and American beers maybe. Bud Light to get your buzz going, and a turn your brain off and laugh at stupid comedy film. Both Sean William Scott and Liv Schreiber have their best performances in this film." What?
Well, there's a lot there.
I was going to say, I'd probably agree with Sean William Scott.
Yeah, actually, I'll just say, not only do I love the Goon film,
Yeah.
But I love tacos.
I love tacos and I love
James-
I genuinely have the I have the Goon replica jersey in my basket on Amazon at the minute, ready to buy.
I know you're a fan of that film.
I love it. And the second one, just as good, man.
Yeah, James, if you make any of them tacos veggie, I'll come and watch Goon with you at some point.
Yeah, we'll do that, mate.
Set the bar. Goon and tacos. Can anyone beat Goon and tacos?
Goon and tacos is the benchmark.
That's actually quite high, actually.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So we've had the hole, we've had the pit, we've had the vault. We've talked about some films. The last thing to do each week is my ticket box. So what's in the box is this idea that, well, actually, I've kept every cinema ticket from pretty much every film I've gone to see since about 2002. And each week, Sam's going to delve into it. He's going to pull a ticket out. He's just going to say it out loud, and me and James are going to try and think of whatever we can. See if we can remember anything about the film.
Go into the box.
So Sam.
Yes, James.
What's in the box?
Well, I would just like to say that on the 23rd of January, 10 years ago.
Day after my birthday.
2008.
Oh, your day after your birthday.
Screen 3, row N, seat 14.
Okay.
Alien versus Predator.
Oh, Jesus. Which one? The first one?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be the first one, wouldn't it? Yeah. Alien versus
Don't know
Predator.
why it makes a difference. They're both terrible.
They are terrible.
Okay, look, as soon as I picked that, I was like, oh, go on, boys, enjoy this one.
I remember, the one thing I remember about this is the tagline, whoever wins, we lose. But I didn't realise they were talking about the audience. I just thought it meant the human race. So after coming out of that film, I just remember thinking, wow, that was shit.
I just remember watching this film and being like, when did they build this pyramid underground that seems to move around? And what's the technology behind that? How is this powered?
You think too much, man.
No, I'm actually with him, because at one point it just magically moves for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, humans are in it now. Turn it on. So just remote control it from space.
So for anyone who's not seen it, it's about a load of human explorers that look at. they go to this.
Sorry, it's just such a weird. Do you remember how the big build up for this film? And do you remember the trailer? The trailer was wordless. There was no sound. But what they had the scene where the aliens skewed the predator.
Yeah.
And it launches up, and they looked at each other, and the internet went friggin' mental.
Yeah.
They were like, "It's gonna be the greatest film ever." Was it? Bollocks.
It's the film that the internet asked for, and everyone thought they wanted, and then quickly realised that you shouldn't really ask for everything in life.
They didn't learn. No plane, mate.
But Alien vs Predator is it's a funny one. Yeah, these humans they stumble across a predator's playground, don't they? Which is where they kind of hunt and kill. And there's a load of aliens there that naturally, the day that the humans turn up, unhatch and come out. And then there's like one predator there's 3 predators, isn't there? Versus
there's 3, but 2 of them
alien.
go quite quickly.
And there's an alien queen in it as well, which creates the final fight scene. And it's just an absolute mess of a film. It's one of them where it's like it's a 15 and it's trying to appeal to a wider audience by not going all.
I think it was a 12.
It's definitely a 15. That one.
Is it on the thing? No,
it was a 15. But it's one of them where you couldn't let the predator win, you couldn't let the alien win, so it's constantly.
It's both sides are equal.
Yeah, well, because you're going to annoy the other franchise, aren't you? You're going to annoy the alien fans if the predator wins, and vice versa.
So these were the one thing I do remember about Alien vs Predator was the games were brilliant because they were all set in the future in space.
Yeah,
and I remember the games being fantastic. And when it was being set in like 2001 North Pole, I remember thinking, oh no,
yeah. It's not a great film. It's not worthy of throwing it in the pit or the hole, but it's just a film, isn't it?
It's not good.
It's a popcorn flick for anyone who wants to watch Aliens versus Predators.
Like a really dumbed down version as well, because weirdly in the sequel, is a sequel in there.
Yeah, I would see the sequel as well, so that might pop up.
Because the sequel went the other way, because they went, so it goes 18 and it goes like mega gory, doesn't it? It goes awful. That's bad.
Yeah, it's dreadful. Nothing really sticks out other than the part where the predator makes a shield out of an alien skull, because obviously the alien skull can.
Why are they friends at one point as well? They just become friends. The predator's like, I guess I won't kill you, human.
He joins side with the human at the end, for the greater good.
Because she gives him the gun.
Yeah.
Because they hide the guns right in the middle of the temple.
Yeah.
God, that's such a bad film.
Temple / pyramid
/ North Pole.
Dreadful.
So the best thing about this film is you paid for premier seating. Then.
It's obviously down for your birthday, mate.
You were splashing out, weren't you?
I was splashing out. I spent £8 on this ticket. I'll let you know.
Wow.
So then obviously it ends with what's their version of a cliffhanger. The predator's been impregnated with an alien.
Yep.
And right at the end you see a Preddy alien.
Yep.
What a waste of time that turned out to be.
Well, it didn't, because it made the sequel.
It made the sequel, but it was crap in it. Sorry, we'll have to wait till the sequel comes out when you pull it out of your box.
Yeah.
Might be a while, mate. If that's
I hope so.
If that's
God.
next week, it's going back in.
So that's been our show for this week.
Enjoyed it.
Are we doing a theme for next week? What are we doing?
Do you want to do the idea we had last week
What's that?
What was
of
that?
the motherfucking podcast?
No, you see, you got
The
built
Samuel
up to
Jackson
that.
one.
I reckon because you're on nights for a little bit, we're not going to be. We should come up with ultimate teams.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this earlier.
We were talking about this earlier.
Okay.
Ultimate teams.
Yeah. So we'll put out there that we're allowed 5 members each. So it's a battle royale scenario. So it's all of us against each other. I'll write the rules down later on, but you need your head of squad, you need your brains, you need your muscle, you need your spy, and you need your kind of stealth assassin, something like that. So I'll write the 5 characters down. You need to bring your team next week. You're looking at not the actor, the character.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that'll be the conversation around the films, that why you've picked them out of that.
And it's
so
a battle royale.
Yeah,
people.
so you might pick John Wick, as your kind of assassin, with Black Widow as your kind of stealth, that kind
Cool.
of thing.
So
Yeah,
we're
definitely,
limiting this to the big screen, so no one can have the game-winning Jack Bauer.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, right, fair enough.
the overpowered Jack Bauer is not allowed.
that's
Yes,
it.
then I am 100% onto that.
Good stuff. So that's going to be next week's show. Anything else we want to discuss?
No,
not
that's,
before we
it's
go.
been good, my friend.
Good. Just under 2 hours.
Yeah,
It's getting longer, boys.
Yeah.
he's getting longer.
Enjoy this Red Bull production of Sorry, You're in My Seat.
Other energy